afternoon and welcome back to the Dennis Herrera Show. This is Saturday Afternoon Chill with yours truly, Dennis Herrera. For those of you that don't know, Herrera in English, it's Smith. So my name is, in English, Dennis Smith. Oh, quite a common name, isn't there? Oh, man, I got some good coffee today. So I got 2 shots of white coffee. I got my mushroom coffee in there. And I got 5 shots of dark espresso shots. Ooh-wee. Tastes so good. Tastes so good. No sugar, no sweetener. But I am cheating because I added a little bit of white chocolate for sweetness. Scott Byrne in the house. Good afternoon, sir. Welcome and thank you for joining. Let me put a little pin comment here. Hey, all driving. Robert, man, veteran, seniors, retired, driving and listening to the Dennis Herrera Show. This is a bad mix. Do not comment. Just listen, Bobby. Just listen. Don't drive and text. Pay attention to the road. I need you to make it back alive. Much love, Robert. We see you, baby. We see you. Let me see. I already pinned the comment. Yeah. Let me pin a comment here on the portrait mode. If you would like to support me, buy me coffee. As you guys know that I love coffee. If you want to buy me coffee, here it is right there. PayPal me at PayPal me / Dennis Herrera 530. I don't know what the 530 comes from, but there it is. If you guys want to buy coffee, that is one way to do it for me. If you guys do super chats, fantastic. If you can't, I understand. Don't worry. There is no mandatory. I already appreciate all of you guys for becoming members. Can you imagine if we actually get at least 18,000 members on this channel? I'm going to tell you something. I will take you guys places. I will take you guys everywhere with me. Not that I won't anyway, but just trying to throw something out there to get you excited about what's going on here in our channel. Guys, this is the Dennis Herrera Show. I am Dennis for you, but let's be honest. The show is mine. But this channel is only possible because of supporters and patrons like you. So when I say in the future, we are going live, I mean you and I. My man, what's going on, man? Good to see you, baby. Good to see you. Let's see. Randall, Robert, what's going on? Straight of Hormuz, open, close, open, close. It was open before Trump effed it up again. All right, I'm going to tell you something. For all those, man, I'm going to make you mod. Robert's already a mod, but I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to make you a mod for one simple reason. You ready? We have released everybody from jail. I did a Mandani move in my list of exiles, of excommunicados. So I am telling you, all these crazies are going to come right back into our chat. Don't panic. Don't panic. I will take care of them, all right? And if you see that they're crossing the line, then you can get rid of them. I shouldn't be excited about today, but I am excited about today. We go against all odds. We are the underdog. And as many people like to say that I am a liar, well, I beg to differ. I beg to differ. I like to say that I have common sense, not to toot my own horn, but I have been right about, except for the one time that Trump beat me, I have been right about everything. Oh, man, I love to be here. I feel like I'm in family when I see you greens and blues in here. Sandra, good afternoon. Welcome, welcome. And Tanya, Big Sis, how are you? Good to see you on here. Now, I know that there is other people out there. Now, I believe that I put it on the description. Let's see. No, I didn't. All right. I was working on a project with AI. Okay, I ran out of credits, so I have to buy more credits. But I am thinking about investing a little bit more with AI. Now, as I have more time, as I have more resources, more money and resources, I will be going out and creating my own, films and all these other stuff to share with you guys. It's going to take a long time, so I can't promise you that it's going to be day one, like President Trump said. Just I love President Trump. I support him 100%. Now, listen, when we say that we want no wars, we mean it. We don't want wars, but we must act because it's necessary. Okay? We don't want them. President Trump doesn't want wars, but we must act accordingly. Let me put something simple. Nah, you know what? We'll wait. We'll wait until we get more people in here because I want everybody to understand. Okay, and remind me if if I forget in the future here, in the near future, remind me because I want everybody to understand something. There is things that we say we want to do, and we promise we'll do the best. Ninja Bear, quiet, Peggy. That's what I get from that. Quiet, Ninja Bear. Quiet, Peggy. But what I want you to understand is something. Now, if you're not a parent, okay, then you probably won't understand what the hell I'm talking about. But I'm going to tell you this. There is times where I have to speak in a certain way so that my children will listen. You understand? I don't want to spank my kids. I don't want to discipline my kids. But doggone it, sometimes I have to do it because they misbehave. It is in the same manner that President Trump does not want wars. But let's be honest, 3 decades ago, President Trump said he was going to bomb the shit out of them because they don't care about negotiating. They don't care about doing anything for the world. You have to understand something right now. Whether you are religious or don't, whether you're spiritual or you ain't, whether you want to see this or not, it is irrelevant. What you have to understand is that this Islamic regime, okay, the Satan's religion, okay, is what we're going to call it from now on. The Satan's religion, they want prophecy, forced prophecy to happen because they have this belief that when all of the Islam comes against Israel and they destroy Israel, then they're I was going to say their master. There's another word. Maybe their master. Their God is going to come back, and we know this is Jesus Christ. But they think that their God is going to come and save them, but it's the actual opposite. They will be condemned to hell, and that's just the way it is. But I want you to understand, they do not want peace. They want war. They want destruction. They celebrate death. We celebrate life. Our Western customs do not fit with Islamic beliefs. Let's just get that out of the way. All right. With that being said, I want you to understand, when President Donald Trump says that he was going to stop the war from day one, it's because he believed that everything that he was going to do was going to be peaceful and it was going to be a done deal because of the friendship and relationship that he has with Putin. He thought that he can go ahead and make this deal happen. Now, he is human. He did, on day one, go after it. He did try. He did do the things that he needed to do. Unfortunately, there is greedy people out there, power-hungry countries, governments, that don't care about making peace treaties. But here's the thing, and I want you to understand something because don't block these cowards. Let them stay on here. The ones that are cursing me out and calling me liar and all this stuff. Let them be here. Let them be gay with me for one day. Let them be gay with me for one day. Hey, Milton, thanks for subscribing, brother. Let me tell you something. The way that we see this world, it's not the way that it is. Meaning, you think that by staying quiet, by not attacking, by not defending, that we are keeping America safe and that we're thinking America first. But that's not how it works. Let me tell you something. President Xi, Putin, a lot of Middle Eastern countries, Asia, and throughout the world where there is no socialist Democrats, meaning wusses, meaning men with vaginas, everywhere else, these strong leaders, whether you like them or not, is irrelevant. Whether you think they're dictators or not is irrelevant. All of these leaders have one thing in common, and that is they don't respect pussycats. They don't respect the weak. They take advantage of the weak Christians in all Western countries. President Xi played tough as long as he could, didn't he? He played tough. But at the end of the day, the reason why he is tough is because he is not going to agree or have any dealings with any coward. It has to be a real man and a man of word as President Trump. Let me fast forward. Everything that we did against the Islamic regime of Iran, we got pushback from the left. We got pushback from the legacy media. We got pushback from all the socialist Democrats and the mangina having humans. I want you to understand something. We, MAGA, we Americans, we Trump supporters, we America first, we policies for the American citizens to be put before illegal immigrants and foreigners, we the people of the United States of America, the majority of us that has common sense, have supported President Trump. We haven't been flakes. We haven't been retracted. We haven't been backing down. We haven't been intimidated. We have continued to fight and move forward. We have continued to support our military when the world is denying us, our warriors, the honor that they bring into our nation. We, the people of the United States of America, have not changed our minds, and we knew exactly who we voted for and why we voted for that person. And we are seeing some of the fruits of that sacrifice. What do we got? Huh? Nobody had the balls. Nobody had the guts to go against the Islamic regime of Iran. Go everywhere else, but don't touch Iran's Islamic regime. Listen, whatever excuse you have, whether the United States, whether the UK, whatever the hell it is that we did in the past, does not excuse any evil regime to kill over 45,000 of their own people. It is irrelevant what excuse you think. Oh, the United States and the UK made them. Shut the hell up. Pay attention. It doesn't matter what the excuse is. But the bottom line is, today, we are here, and we are going to do what we need to do. And before you continue thinking that our president is a loser, let me remind you that this loser beat you twice on the election. Beat you many times with drug boats, Venezuela, right now with Iran, with the tariffs. That loser beat all of you on the other side of the aisle. So what does that make you? You mangina having little wusses. No common sense, no brain. Just hate and no common sense. Well, doggone it. Salud, my friends. Coffee is life. Let me bring it down a couple of notches. Now that the hardest job, the hardest thing to do against Iran. Now, let's separate the Iranian people. We love Iran. We love Iran. The Iranian regime of satanical Islamist people. Let me tell you something. Now that the Hormuz is open, and whoever is in charge or has any sort of authority over Iran have agreed to remove the mines in the sea, have agreed to open the Hormuz Strait. Now, check this out. Now, NATO wants to get involved. Now, the UK wants to help. Now, France. Now, shut the hell up. We don't need your help. We don't need your help. I'm going to tell you something. I am a nationalist. I believe my nation comes first. And don't confuse it with the racist Hitler. Don't be retarded. That is not a nationalist. That was a nationalist racist dictator. We are not racist. We want everybody that has come to this country the legal way, the right way, that has become American citizens, and that they, my friends, want to do something for the United States of America. Those are the people that we want to fight for. Now, whether you like it or not is irrelevant. It doesn't matter what you say, because I know that I am right. Listen, I appreciate all of you veterans out there, okay? And we're going to watch something special today. I appreciate every single one of you veterans out there that went to fight and did this and did that. I really do. I really appreciate it. What I don't appreciate is what you came back to the United States and are doing today. You need to rethink your priorities. If you are a true veteran, if you are a true soldier, a patriot that wants to fight for the United States of America right now, you need to understand something. Whether we are right or wrong on what we're doing is irrelevant. Do you understand? You either stand and protect and continue to fight for the United States to win. Doesn't matter what side it goes. If you are a true veteran, soldier, whatever the hell you are, if you are for America first, the moment that you fight against us, the enemy starts winning. So I am going to tell you one time. Think about what you did for our country and why. And I'm going to make a statement. If you don't continue to support, if you don't continue to fight by our side, on the American side, whether you like it or not, if you stop fighting next to the American side, you are a traitor. And you bring shame to this nation. That's my statement. Putin, right now, Putin wants to start using the dollar again. Woo! Let's go. Another win. And you say, Putin, oh my God, the guy is the loser. It doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what you think. But the bottom line is that we need to keep our enemies closer than our friends. You have to understand the socialist Democrats. If you don't know what a socialist Democrat is, that is a mix of a Marxist communist into a socialist group. Their goal is to destroy the United States of America and destroy government. How do they destroy government? Well, here we go. One of the tactics is to allow illegal immigrants to come into our country. Do you know why? Let's see if any of these leftist so-called American with manginas know. Tell me, why do you think that they have to bring illegal immigrants by the millions, by the way? Oh, I love this. By the millions, illegal immigrants. Look it up, Google it, and then first you're going to go find out what is the benefit of allowing illegal immigrants into our country. See what you get. Then you can Google what happens when the population in each state has a lot more people. Now, once you find those two searches, get back at me and tell me how they benefit, because you have to understand how the mind works. And the reason why they need, I'm going to give you the answers because I can't wait. I'm too impatient. The reason why they need millions of illegal immigrants, simple reason: easy to manipulate, easy to control, easy to lie to, and fake promises they will stay here and they will be part of the census. With that being said, this is how they can go redistrict. This is how they get more federal money. This is how they control the power in office. They have allowed, whether you like it or not, hundreds of thousands of illegals to vote. Oh, I go to church. Man, we're going to have a good show today. We're going to have a good show. I don't know how long it's going to be, because I'm telling you right now, I hope that this mix of coffee that I make gives me enough energy to put up through all the stuff that I want to cover today. There is so much. There is so much. And before you say, oh, that nobody's committing fraud, verily anybody, oh, I got something good for you today. Oh, I got something good for you today. Everybody said, look at Nick Shirley, what, the right-wing extremist YouTuber lying about fraud. And all of a sudden, we get the Attorney General, Robert Pumba, or whatever his name is now, I forgot, coming out there and saying, oh, we've been investigating this for decades. And we got him. We got him. And then Gavin Newsom says, oh, look at this extremist right wing, blah, 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 propaganda. Now he says, oh, by the way, we have fixed the fraud issue in California. Yeah, right. Dr. Oz is out there with the FBI capturing these fraudsters. And what does California do when they say that they're fighting against this fraud? They go out there and make a new bill out there that stops investigative journalism from happening. Well. How do you like them apples? Man, I'm telling you, boy, if you're bitching about the gas prices right now, shut the hell up. 45,000 plus Iranian innocent women and children have been killed in Iran by the Islamist regime. I'd rather my gas go up, which is affecting me. I'd rather have my gas go up and for my leader, my president, my people, our service military to go out there and take care of these cowards. If you'd rather see more people die because you don't like the gas prices, then something is freaking wrong with you. Oh, man, this coffee's good. No, 45,000 is the last number that I heard, but there is hundreds more apparently being killed, okay? Here's the thing. The bottom line is, one is too many. The leftists made a huge deal, and they're still making a huge deal by pretty good being taken out. I thought that was pretty good. They got taken out. Why? Impeding, obstructing, rebelling against the law enforcers. They put themselves in danger. They're not just protesting with their voices. They were out there trying to run people over with their cars. Go out there with a gun on their waist. And then pretending that they are innocent, very peaceful protesters, kicking the taillights of the federal cars, throwing rocks. Yeah, very peaceful. Very peaceful. And you guys bitch and complain, which is okay. Two people lost their lives. Justifiable. They're justified. But they did lose their lives, and you should say something. So I want you to say something about 45,000 people that died, innocent people that died in Iran. No more. These sons of bitches have been getting away with terrorizing the world, and Donald Trump has been saying this for decades. Decades they've been saying this. We got to do something about it. Man. Let me see where I put this. So excited. I got so many things on here. Let me go and see if I can find. You guys already seen some of the stuff that I put on yesterday. Man. Man. There is a clip of Hillary Clinton talking about we got to bomb Iran. We got to take care of this regime. Oh, Democrats were all for it. Oh, yeah, we have a great leader. Oh, we got a great leader on the Socialist Democrat Party. And then Kamala came in and said the same thing. Nobody on the left was saying shit about it. Nobody. Let's be clear. Not one of the people on the left. Oh, wait a minute. We can't just go and attack Iran. What is wrong with you? We love terrorist Muslims. Everybody just love terrorist Muslims. The moment that Trump comes in and says, okay, I heard you. I heard the American people. I heard the Democrats. They're right. I heard Barack Obama. He's right. I heard Biden. He's right. We heard so many presidents. They were right. We even heard Hillary. She was right. Kamala, as airhead as she is, she was right. So Trump says, hey, listen, I think I got the votes. I am now president of the United States of America, and I'm going to bomb the shit out of them. Goodbye, Air Force, for Iran. Salud, my friends. Goodbye, Navy ships. Well, you know, they got turned into submarines. And they are patrolling the bottom of the ocean. Yeah. Well, the fish are happy. Listen, now I don't trust for 1 second that these terrorists are going to give up just like that. But I will point out that the only pussies that I have seen in the world, it's all the nations of NATO. Bunch of cowards. They want peace, but they don't want to do what they need to do to get that peace. Now that President Trump took all the heat like a sponge, sucking up all the water. Now that he's taken all the heat, he looked like the bad man and the United States is crap. Now they want to help. Now they want to go and claim that because of them, this peace happened. 10 wars, my friends. 10 wars. Are you not entertained? By the way, welcome to the Dennis Herrera Show. Thank you for being here with me today. Now, if I would have finished my project that I was working on earlier, I would have showed you my transformation. But unfortunately, I only have it on the portrait mode, so it wouldn't be cool to show it to everybody. So we're going to have to wait until I actually make the landscape mode of this transformation, just for your entertainment only. So here we go. So now the world knows that crazy old orange man, the supposed pedophile for the leftists that hate him. We all know that these people are retarded. I'm sorry. I am insulting the people that are actually retarded with a mental disability. But in reality, it really is the mentally unstable leftist socialist Democrats. Okay? That is really who should take that on. Hey, Milton, what happened, man? I thought you subscribed to my channel. Why the hell you subscribe to my channel so that you can come and talk shit? What's going on here, guys? What am I missing? I am not looking at the comments. Let me see what Milton said. Why would Milton say that? I knew about it at 4 a.m. Why is your host so late to find out? I don't know what the hell you're talking about. And I'm glad that you're up at 4 a.m., sucker. But that doesn't mean that as soon as something happens, I got to be there. Because first of all, I like to make sense of things. Like, for example, I listen to the whole executive order, which we are about to play. I'm telling you, we got enough clips to play today. So, we're going to have to get into it. Listen, I spend enough time talking about the tactics of what the president is doing. I talked enough about all the pussies that we have in NATO. And now they want to be part of the success that the United States of America, who so valiantly has been fighting, despite all the prejudice and all the attacks and all the hate from the leftist cowards who don't love our military, who don't love our great country of the USA, despite the shameful leftist retards that are out there hating President Trump and our military. Every single day, they hope that our military fails. They praise Iranian Islamic regime for some reason. I just don't understand. And when they can't make sense of things, they drop the name Israel. Let me drop the name Israel here before we go to our first clip. It's actually just a video. It's a live that just happened about an hour ago or so. Israel needs more money. We need to give Israel more money. People are out there, and it's very shameful because these are very old veterans out there, and well, it's very sad that they don't have any brains. But first of all, we have a great relationship with Israel. They are our friends. They are our allies. By that simple reason, we need to help them out. Let's remember that Israel has been attacked. Over 6 nations around Israel has attacked Israel. And Israel, in defense, attacked them and kicked their ass. It's that simple. For some reason, people look at Israel as the bully because they're kicking ass. But that's not how it works. Besides that, we get a lot of intel from Israel, and we give a lot of intel to Israel as well. We got the Golden Dome, the Iron Dome. That type of technology is the things that they are sharing with us. The Islamic regime doesn't do that, so why would we help them? No. Hell no. So they want to defund Israel. I say we need to give them more money. The reason why we haven't had more terrorist attacks over here is because Israel is fighting these mofos over there in the Middle East. Bottom line. So if you are a veteran, just because you serve in the military doesn't mean shit that you know what's going on over there. You may know how to shoot. You may know how to do this and that. But there's a reason why you're not the leader. And the reason why you're not the president. Excuse me. God bless Israel. And if you want to go and complain and bitch and whine about, oh, Israel is since 1948, they were not there, shut the hell up. All the Jews are descendants of the Canaanites. The Canaanites have not left that territory. They have been there all along. That is their land. The Muslims are billions compared to just about 10 million Jews. They gave Israel this little tiny piece of land. And they got the majority of the land, and yet they are miserable. Why? That's what they get for praising a false god. Because Satan is not a god. Allah means God, but which one are you talking to? I am talking to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The only one true God. Because the Bible doesn't contradict itself. And you have to understand something. According to the Bible and the way that you follow the timetable, there was witnesses sharing the truth of God with their children and continue that. And people choose to follow a religion that was created by a pedophile at mid-50s marrying a 6-year-old. 6 or 7, somewhere in there. A true pedophile. See, the whole migration from Mecca, fantastic. It sounds like a great story. But the Medina, now let's talk about that. Evil mofos. This is when they came in with their political views and established Islam. That's right. Very, very, very Christian-like when they don't have power. Very Christian-like when they don't have power. And the moment that Muhammad got power, it became a political movement. But you know what? It's okay. If you want to live in a world of lies, continue to believe that I'm lying to you. Man, let's do this. Let me share something. This guy, he is, I'm assuming he's a black conservative, okay? So I'm going to share this with you first. Let me go ahead and put my X account on the screen for you. And let's share it. See what he says right here. Let's take a look. Make sure I get it first.
A religion built upon a narrative of migration. The story of the Hijrah reminds us that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was a stranger too, who fled Mecca and was welcomed in Medina.
Stranger. So Muhammad rolled into Medina solo? No allies, no plan, no deal? So you mean you didn't know that Muhammad showed up with 70 to 80 allies, had political deals with two big tribes in Medina, Aus and Khazraj, before he even got there? You didn't know he came in as a political leader with a game plan, not some random immigrant? If you are a Muslim, you already know all this. So why stop the story there? Keep going! Worried your fellow Americans might hear what comes next? You are not spoiling anything, Mamdani. We Iranian know the ending. We've lived this movie for 14 centuries. Let me loop in my American friends. When Muhammad got into Medina, the city turned into an ideological command HQ. Either you're with us or you'll find out. Year 2, Bani Ghainqa, the first Jewish tribe, gets beaten and kicked out. Year 4, Bani Nadir, the second Jewish tribe, got expelled too. Year 5, Bani Qurayza, another Jewish tribe, got attacked. But this time, Muhammad ﷺ, the Prophet of mercy and kindness, decided not to expel them. Instead, they killed 700 people, and women and kids were taken captive. Did he stop there? Nope. Old grudges with Mecca were still very much alive. What about after What about after Mecca was conquered? You wish, but no. A pro tip to my American friends, you've got to look at Mecca and Muhammad and Medina and Muhammad separately. Muhammad without power, Muhammad with power. Check the Meccan verses. It's all about patience, mercy, spiritual endurance. If they insult you, you say hello to them and walk away. God is the kindest of the kindest. Now check Medinan verses. Once the sacred months have passed, kill the polytheists wherever you find them. My American friends, this is not a theory for us. The tree is trying so hard to plant in states. We've lived with its fruits for 14 centuries. Look at other countries run by political Islam. Look at Iran, my beautiful, broken country. All I'm saying is this. Please do not let what happened to us happen to you wonderful folks. One bad remake is more than enough. I truly hope you never have to learn this the hard way. But if 47 years from now you ever need us, we will be right there beside you. Long live US, long live Iran.
God bless this man for telling the truth. And by the way, he's Iranian. That means he's Persian. That means that he is one of the first civilizations or people that actually accepted Christianity. I believe that, with the Romanians, of course. But, again, somebody put in there, why Americans are debating Islam. Shut the hell up. Go get a Quran like I did and listen to what they say. Read and try to understand. Actually read and try to understand what it says. What a bunch of retards. They go and ask us, why do we do this? And then yet they go and do things that they don't even have no idea about. Chris, stop it with the Mossad, will you? Stop it. Uncle Andy, how are you, brother? Jason Beatrice, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the Dennis Herrera Show. Who do we got in here? David, welcome. I see Mr. Mikey. Welcome, sir. Good afternoon. Tanya, my sis, I already say hello to you. Anybody else that I missed? I apologize. We are not reading that many comments today. I want to focus on what I have to share. Now I got another clip to share for you. Here we go. Let's take a look at this one. Now, that is Mandani talking about, my Islam religion comes from a migration point of view. Shut the hell up, you snake. Now we know the truth about this demonic religion. Here is something important that I think. Check this out, this conservative black man.
war is because Israel wants it.
Let's start again. Why does it go mute, son of a bitch? And I can't even rewind this bitch. All right, here we go.
Is because Israel wants it.
Come on. The only reason? I'm going to explain why the U.S. is bombing Iran's government without mentioning Israel until the end. I don't know if this war is the right call, and we won't all agree with what's happening, but at least we can understand why. Iran wasn't always a place where women were forced to cover up, the government killed its own people, and kids sold kidneys for food. It used to be a thriving democracy. Then, Iran's prime minister tried to nationalize their oil to take it back from British corporations. The CIA and the Brits didn't like that. So in 1953, they helped overthrow him and replace him with the Shah. The Shah was controversial. So in 1979, liberal college students led a revolution to overthrow him. What they hoped for was freedom. What they got was the Islamic Republic. The Republic executed thousands of political prisoners, including those students. In 1979, they held 52 Americans hostage for 444 days. Night after night, they paraded our citizens on camera and tortured them off camera. We took that personally. Now, you need to understand this about the Islamic Republic. They aren't rational geopolitical actors. They are religious fanatics who welcome death. Their constitution lists their messiah, a figure who disappeared over 1,000 years ago, as head of state. They believe he will only come back at the end of the world, so that's what they want. That's why they fund Hamas and killed Americans worldwide. Aren't logical. They're ideological. And you can't negotiate someone out of a position that they didn't reason themselves into. For the last 2 decades, they've pursued 2 weapons to contest the West: nukes and terrorism. Obama got them to agree not to build nukes for 15 years in exchange for removing sanctions. But that gave them more money, which they gave to terrorists instead of their citizens. Trump removed the nuclear deal and put back sanctions. That gave them less money for terrorists, but pushed them toward nukes. You don't want war, but you also don't want them getting nukes, right? But how do you prevent the nukes without risking the war? Do you keep playing nuclear poker and hope that they bluff for the next 20 years? Or do you flip the table? If you were the president, what would you do? And what would you realize about them if they tried to kill you, like they tried to kill Trump? Now, does Israel benefit from this? Sure. That's what happens when 2 countries share an enemy.
Yeah.
We're not saints. We're acting in our interests. But our interests and the Iranian people's interests are aligned. And what we did to Iran was wrong. Now we have a chance to make it right.
Absolutely. Bada bing, bada boom. Very simple, isn't it? Man, that guy explained it better than me. 100%. 100% better than me. Most successful in U.S. history. We will actually get to that later. I'm sure that you guys already seen. I'm sure you already seen my shorts with Biden.
In a sense, I don't know why we're surprised by Trump. How many times does he have to prove we can't be trusted?
That's right. Supported strongly by Slick Willie.
Supported strongly by Slick Willie. Oh, man, that was so good. That was so good, man. That's so good. All right. That's one of them here. Let me see here. I think I saved some stuff. I may have saved some stuff here on my Facebook account. Now, on my Facebook account, let's see. How do we go about this? Hold on. Give me a second here. And let's see. Let's do it this way. Okay. I just like to I like to keep my members private as much as I can. I'm sure at some point I will mess up. I apologize about that. But my Facebook account is very freshly newed. So if you find it interesting, you can go and look me up and send me an invite request. And we'll accept you and start getting going with the Facebook account as well. Now I'm starting to go ahead and touch up on some of the stuff like like my X account. Of course, I don't use it as much, but my Instagram account, I was able to find my original Instagram account, and I never really play with it that much. I really don't care for it. Quick update. Let's see. Brent crude oil is still at $90, $83 with WTI crude. So gas prices, I will hope to see some of those prices going down. Okay. All right, here we go. Let's see. Who else we got in here? Did Donald Trump personally bring it back? True story. Yeah. Happy birthday, Tanya. Tanya's birthday? Say what? Let me see. Tanya. Is your birthday, Tanya? Big Sis? Is your birthday? My birthday is tomorrow, not today. Okay, it's tomorrow, not today. We're going to have to make a quick video, hopefully. We can make a quick video you know what? I'm going to make Streamlabs a mod on the landscape mode. It shouldn't affect the portrait mode, hopefully. Okay? So we'll let Streamlabs take care of these morons on the landscape mode. And we'll just concentrate here on the portrait mode. All right, here we go. So tomorrow, everything expensive under Trump. So tell me, how cheap was it under Biden? How cheap was it under Obama? Yeah, and how much cheaper did it get when Trump took over Obama? Obama's bad administration. Shut the hell up if you don't know history. All right, so here is a quick clip. All right, let's just listen to it. Let's take a look. Got to watch commercials.
That fix it any way you want. Anywhere I want. I can schedule a chip fix while I get my...
All right, we don't need to... Before I get in trouble with the audio here. All right, if you don't know my email address, you can send my email, Dennis, AHORA @gmail.com. That's my second account. And that is an account that I have set up for Spanish, but I never get into it because I'm always doing it in English. Here we go. Now we can listen to the audio. Where's the audio? Here we go.
TV. Laura, a caller dialed into C-SPAN, when they take callers during the day, to vent about the Supreme Court's ruling on President Trump's tariffs. And the name the guy gave was John Barron. Now, long watchers of Trump remember he used that pseudonym reported.
Remember this one?
Back in the day, so ears perked up.
John in Virginia, Republican. Let's hear from you.
Well, this is John Barron, and this is the worst decision you ever have in your life. Jack's going to agree with me, right? But this is a terrible decision. And you have Hakeem Jeffries, he's a dope, and you have Chuck Schumer, who can't cook a cheeseburger. Of course these people are happy.
It's pretty fun. It's pretty good. It's not bad.
Yeah, well,
it's not bad.
Well, where's Rich Little when we need him? You know what? C-SPAN needs to have the Republican line, the Democratic line, and the imitator line. They came out with a statement saying this was not the president, but we already knew that. He had an alibi. The president was being broadcast at the time in a highly covered meeting with the governor. So
genius.
It was definitely an impersonator, but funny. It was funny.
But Raymond, these was like the old days of radio when people would call into my radio show and do this. Remember, like Mrs. Robinson would call in and pretend it was Barack Obama's mother.
They would
like
people,
MR, her name was, and it sounded kind of like Barack Obama's mom. And I can never really tell, but she complained about him a lot. It was very disconcerting to me. So I couldn't really follow that. All right.
You need the imitator line.
Exactly. Now, Gavin Newsom, I know you were following him because he was at an Atlanta book tour stop. Raymond writes a lot of books.
This one's a classic. Listen to this guy who the leftist socialist Democrats want to support and love so much. The guy has to tell the black community that he is just as stupid as they are. He goes on there and insults them. And they just laugh about it because that's how low-key this audience is. I would have been pissed. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? I would hope that the guy that becomes president is a lot smarter than I am. Because if he's dumber than I am, we're in trouble. You got to be able to have more common sense than just some guy. I am just some guy. The president's got to be smarter than that. And this guy, because he also want to be politically correct, because he doesn't want to make himself look better, he says that he is dumb, just like you. Yeah, I ain't making this up, man. I ain't making this up.
Books, he does a lot of this stuff. But he was pointing out why he should be considered serious and relatable because of his unimpressive test scores.
I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just trying to impress upon you. I'm like you. I'm no better than you. I'm a 960 SAT guy. And I'm not trying to offend anyone, trying to act all there if you got 940. You've never seen me read a speech.
Not only did he say that he is dumb at 960, but if you are 940 or any less, he's no better than you. You guys are just retarded. But don't worry, you still vote for the dumbass.
Because I cannot read a speech. Maybe the wrong business to be in.
Duh.
Oh, my God. Laura, this is the soft trickery of no expectations. I mean, look, this guy, a month ago he was saying he was reading a 300-page book in 2 hours. Now he says he can't read. Well, then why are you trying to be president of the United States? You may have to read a little bit, Gavin. This is the slippery nature of this guy, where he tries to be all things to all people, and they all are repulsed by it.
What do you get for just showing up at the SAT? I can't remember now. Don't you get 800 just for showing?
I think you get 600 or something.
600?
Nicki Minaj posted a tweet about this. She said Newsom's way of bonding.
By the way, I just did an IQ test, and I am smarter or higher than 90% of the population of the United States of America. All my patriots, I hope that you are in that 10% with me.
With black people is to tell them how stupid he is and that he can't read. Boy, is she right. And that's his approach to everybody. Depends on who he's in front of.
Well, and then Robert De Niro, I love him too. He's one of my faves.
Oh, your favorite. Well, he's doing his most dramatic acting skill in years, Laura, with MS Now host Nicole Wallace. Yes, he sat down with her, and yes, it was all about Trump.
You can't divide people. You can't live that way. Look what we have. Look who we have. It's almost like a destiny to have this thing there, attempting to destroy this country, and maybe not even understanding why.
You weren't supposed to make me cry.
No, they're making us all cry, Laura. I mean, come on. Robert De Niro, one of the great actors of his generation, and now his acting partner is Nicole Wallace. This is such an embarrassing way to go out. I mean, save it for the screen. This is the Trump harangue. You're bigger than this, Robert De Niro. Go back to your craft. Stop the political commentary. Leave that to the experts.
Scarface, Meet the Parents, all the great movies.
The Godfather, Laura. Maybe the greatest movie of all time, Raging Bull. And now he's just slinging Raging Bull everywhere he turns, and it's always against Donald Trump. My heart breaks in one respect.
No, Scarface was Pacino. Scarface was Pacino, Raymond. Raymond, Scarface was Pacino, correct? Did I screw that up? Or Scarface? Yeah, I don't know.
I wasn't going to correct you, but yes.
For some reason, Robert De Niro and Al Pacino, I don't know what it is. You know how certain people just meld into one? And I love both of their acting, but for some reason, those two become... Thing. Yes. Almost Scarface, yes, Sam said. All right, Raymond, thank you.
There is a movie with Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, and Robert De Niro and Al Pacino also were in The Godfather.
What are you doing?
I think I missed part of that clip. Fudge. I think I skipped it. My bad. The next part of the other second half of that clip was supposed to be Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris saying what Trump is actually doing today that they were going to do themselves, but never got to it because, well, we voted for Trump. We voted for a loser. Oh, wait a minute. If he won the presidency, that makes him a winner. That makes all of the libtards losers. Eat your heart out. Now, here is something very important. Check this out.
Concerns.
Hold on, S.A. I want you to pay attention to this clip, okay? Because everybody that votes for socialist Democrats, they're always telling us that we're liars, that we're lying about any fraud going on in mail-in ballots. Well, you see that table right there full of ballots? Oh, man. They can't hide the truth forever. Check this out.
Contacted me and came and dropped off at the Bellevue headquarters a large box of ballots, Washington State ballots, specifically King County elections ballots, that were mailed to people and never received or maybe returned to an original post office box, mail box address. And the concerned individual, a fellow, found these ballots in a box on the ground next to a dumpster behind a strip mall in Renton. He looked in the box, saw it was ballots, hundreds of ballots, many from the 2024 general election.
Hundreds. You got that? Hundreds. Now, this is just what they found. Imagine the possibilities that they got rid of more and more ballots before this happened.
But others from 2025, 2023, 2022, basically multiple Washington elections between 2022 and 2025 last year. Didn't know what to do. He realized there was something wrong, that all these ballots were just sitting there in a box on the ground next to a dumpster. So he picked up the box, he put it in his truck, and then he called first King County elections, because they're the ones who sent the ballots out. No response, no interest. Then he called the state Secretary of State, Steve Hobbs, that office. No interest, no response. Then he called his federal Congress member, their office, no interest, no response. Then he reached out to me. This is proof that in Washington State, we need to do better to improve the security and integrity of our mail-in voting system. This is proof of the broken chain of custody that makes secure elections impossible in Washington State. Now, this is not supposed to happen. When a ballot is mailed to a voter in this state, and all of these voters are people who use mailboxes as their address, the ballot is supposed to either be delivered to the voter or returned, in this case, to King County elections. That didn't happen here. These ballots must have ended up in a room somewhere, or a warehouse, or a back room somewhere. And as I say, they were from multiple years, 2022 through 2025. And then put in a box and thrown away like trash. Ballots are not trash. This is proof that we need the kind of reforms
that will be put in place by IP 26-500, the Voter ID Initiative. The Voter ID Initiative requires proof of citizenship when you register to vote in Washington State, and effectively updates the registered voter databases so this is less likely to happen, so that the voter databases are up to date and current, and King County Elections isn't mailing ballots to people who won't pick them up at their mailbox. This is very troubling. It's not supposed to happen like this. When you mail ballots to people and they never pick them up and they sit in a room somewhere for a while, that is an invitation to fraud. And these people couldn't vote these ballots because they never got them. But in one case that we checked, the individual, at least according to the Secretary of State's website, voted in this election. This was the November 2024 general election. It wasn't this ballot that the individual voted. They must have submitted another ballot, a replacement ballot. But does this individual even know that she voted in November of 2024? It's not clear. This is a problem. This is a symptom of a system that is not secure. Thank goodness the concerned citizen brought us this evidence. He, I don't believe, is even very political, but he was shocked to see a box of unvoted ballots sitting next to a dumpster behind a strip mall in Renton. We have to do better, and the thing that you can do to help us do better is support the Voter ID Initiative. I will include a link to the website where you can get more information about where to sign. You can contribute some money if you want to help the cost of the project. But we need better election security in Washington State. We need to guarantee voter ID, and we need to audit and update the databases, the registered voter databases, because that's the mailing list. That's how these ballots get sent to people, in this case, in King County. And if we update it and make sure that the names on that mailing list in that database are current and accurate, this is less likely to happen. This is just the beginning of this story. We are going to continue to shine a light on election integrity and the lack of election security in Washington State. We have to do better.
We have to.
That's it for now. Resist tyranny. Do it happily. Our beautiful state deserves to be defended by free people. And remember, peaceful noncompliance with bad government action is a powerful tool for change. And don't let this prevent you from voting. Vote, vote, vote. Fight, fight, fight. I will with you.
Jim Walsh, one of the toughest men that I know here in Washington State. My new brother, Eric Langdon, as well. Very smart man. These guys are way better than me at reading law and reading documents from legislature. These are true American patriots, and I really am very, very, what's the word? Not proud of them, but I admire them a lot, and I respect them greatly because, you know, one of the deficits that I have, okay, or maybe a weakness that I may have, it's reading in English and having an imagination of what I'm reading. But I will tell you this, that once I comprehend the text, I can come to my own conclusions. And whether it was intended to look in a certain manner, I always translate it in a way that makes sense to me. And so if I'm wrong about that, which I haven't so far yet, It's just me, and that's just part of who I am. Now, there is, let me see, why don't we play a 7-minute clip before we actually get into one of the live streams that just happened not too long ago. This is the judge nominee having a fiery exchange over limits of presidential powers. Let's get Joe Roger back to the doghouse, I see. These people never leer. They all graduated from the Leering Center and nobody got their diploma. That is just crazy. Well, you came to the right channel, for this is where you're going to have your eyes open to the truth. Here we go.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Smith, I believe that a lot of the corruption that we're seeing in the administration and the White House traces back to a single decision of the Supreme Court granting the president immunity, absolute immunity when it comes to certain core functions of the executive, a qualified immunity as to other official acts. The only area where a president would be personally liable for prosecution would be purely personal conduct, which is hard to imagine what that entails given that the president is president 24 hours a day. You were part of the president's legal team, defending the president, articulating the president's position in Trump v. United States. I want to ask you about that. In the Court of Appeals, John Sauer, one of the counsel for the president, was asked by a Court of Appeals Judge Pan in the D.C. Circuit whether under your theory of the case, his theory of the case, a president could order SEAL Team 6 to assassinate a political opponent and not be subject to prosecution for it. Sauer's answer was effectively, that's right. Unless he were impeached first, he would not be subject to prosecution. Is that your view as well?
I think a similar question was also asked at the oral argument at the Supreme Court a few months later. I think the Supreme Court has now set forth a test in Trump versus United States that would address that hypothetical situation, which, based on my relationship, I might add, I think is outlandish, and I see no reason to think that that hypothetical would ever be a possibility.
Well, but so is it your view as well, as it was Mr. Sauer's, that yes, the president could assassinate a political opponent and not be prosecuted for it if his party won't impeach him in the Senate?
I think Trump versus United States that you mentioned, Senator, now has addressed to some extent the impeachment judgment clause, and that is set forth in the opinion. It would be something that I would be bound as precedent to apply if I was to address.
With my hypothetical, what's your answer? The president orders SEAL Team 6 to kill his political opponent, one of them, maybe several, uses the military to do it, so it's within the scope of absolute immunity. Is it your view that he is not subject to prosecution for that if the members of his party will not impeach him?
Yeah, with that hypothetical or any hypothetical that you might try to pose, Senator, I would just refer to the test that the Supreme Court has set out.
I'm asking you your view, so just tell me yes or no.
Yeah, and I want to tell you that as a judicial nominee, I don't want to prejudge any case regardless.
Well, I'm not asking you to prejudge. I'm asking you to talk about your view and also what you argued, what you counseled the president in that case. Did you make the argument as a member of the president's legal team that, yes, he could assassinate his opponent if he used the military to do it, and if his party wouldn't impeach him, that he would be protected?
Yeah, so I can't get into any privilege conversations, as you know, due to attorney-client privilege, but I would refer you to the remarks that John Sauer had at the Court of Appeals and the Supreme Court.
Well, the remarks that he made were, yes, that's correct, he would be immune. So I don't hear any disagreement with you. Do you disagree?
I would disagree with your characterization of how he responded to that.
And I think that that would be punishable. I don't care if he's the president. You can't just assassinate. If you are known, proven to have assassinated a political opponent, your ass should be going to jail. I don't care if you're the president. That's just not how it works. But you know what I find very interesting on this question is that the JFK seems to have been killed by the president at that time. Nobody says anything about that, but that's exactly what it looks like to me. And doggone it, they didn't mourn, did they? They kind of celebrated and smiled about everything that they did. And, well, Shifty Schiff made a big lie about the Russia collusion. Remember that? Remember that document? Remember he said he had thousands of pages of proof that President Trump was colluding with Russia, and that they were cheating? Yeah, I don't know why his ass is still not in jail, but I hope that he gets to be put in jail.
Question. I think he said it was outlandish, would not happen, and that there would be a process to hold someone like that accountable. And I think that
the process, the question from the judge was, if you were not impeached first, is that your position? And that was Sauer's position. It sounds like that is your position as well. Let me ask you about a different part of the court's opinion, that is that the only area where he's truly liable is purely personal conduct. So let me ask you this. If a president uses their official position to enrich themselves, is he immune, or is that purely personal?
So Chief Justice Roberts asked a similar question at oral argument. I think counsel referred him to
I'm asking you.
Yeah, I want to refer you to the same place, the United States versus Brewster.
Don't refer me, just answer the question. In your view, if the president enriches himself through his office, is he immune, or is that purely personal conduct?
Yeah, so I think the United States versus Brewster decision said
you're not answering the question. Let me ask you a different one, see if you'll answer that. If a president took bribes to change the country's policy in the Gulf, purely personal or subject to immunity?
Brewster dealt with bribes, and in that case, the court said that a legislator could be prosecuted for bribery.
We're not talking about legislator. We're talking about the president of the United States, who has.
I want you to know that what he's trying to do is he's setting up a scenario where President Trump is going to look impeachable, which will be a sign of, treason, bribery, and high crimes, with misdemeanors, etc. And they are trying to find something. Now, what I really dislike about these socialist snakes, it's how they are the dirty ones, and nobody's doing shit about it. That's what pisses me off about this useless Congress, this useless Senate. They're garbage. We have proven over and over that the socialist Democrat snakes have been destroying our country, have been lying over and over and over, and nothing happens to them. Now here he is, this snake, again, lying, again. How is he still in Congress? How are they still in the Senate? How is this legislature not being held responsible for all the lies and fake accusations that they make against their political opponents? For Pete's sakes, this is the same snake that tried to weaponize the government and went after Trump for 4 years during the first term. How come they get to weaponize it? During the Biden administration, they weaponized the government again. They went after his personal family, his kids, personal files, etc. Why are they still in freaking office? You know what? Maybe I should run for representative instead of governor. Maybe I should run for representative instead of governor. Because I will eat the snakes alive. I will eat the snakes alive. And they got nothing on my personal life. Nothing. I got a squeaky clean record. We'll see. God's will. But this snake should be in jail already.
Has immunity now, thanks to your work in part. So let me ask you another question. If a president demanded money from a media organization in order to approve a merger, immune or purely personal conduct subject to prosecution?
Every hypothetical situation will be addressed by the test in Trump versus United States on what type of immunity would apply.
Yeah, so you're not going to answer the question. What if a president falsely arrested a sufficient number of senators such that he couldn't be impeached? Is there a remedy for that?
For each of these hypothetical situations, the Trump versus United States test would be applied.
Okay, the Trump v. United States test would be applied. So the president is using the military to arrest members of Congress to prevent his impeachment. What's the remedy?
In each of these hypothetical scenarios, Senator, the remedy is...
What's the remedy?
The court would go through the different types of presidential power that might be at issue. There's a different test for absolute versus...
He's passed the test. He's got immunity unless he's impeached. That's what the court has held. And he's not impeached because he can't be impeached, because he's arrested enough of the Senate to prevent his impeachment or even an impeachment proceeding. What's the remedy?
So, Senator, as I've said, for each hypothetical scenario you're trying to present, the court would look at the different tests that the Trump versus United States would present.
I'm just going to have to conclude here that you don't want to express your view on it, because I think it's a shocking view. I think it was a shocking view that John Sauer expressed in the Court of Appeals. I think it's a shocking view that you hold, that the president's authority is so profound that he basically is above and beyond the law, that there's no remedy for a president who would abuse his power the way we have already seen and I fear we'll see in the future. I think the Roberts Court will go down in history. That will be their legacy as having enabled the worst form of corruption we've ever seen in the Oval Office. And you'll be...
I can't believe that snakes like this are actually allowed to be in office. So yeah, I'll tell you what, I'm having a lot of fun this Saturday afternoon, and I got a loser on my landscape mode, that lucky one, the same asshole that has no respect for the United States of America. Now, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Why don't we do this? Let me go ahead and open. Guys, if you are a libtard, a leftist guy, don't leave, okay? I'm going to give you a chance to give in your piece and then show your true colors of how you feel about the United States of America. Why don't you guys, let me see if I have the number on here. There we go. How about that? Let's see if you can see that right there. Go ahead. Give me a call, that lucky one, if you haven't been blocked from being an asshole. And I would like Manuel Correa to go ahead and give me a call as well. Yeah, Chuck was talking about himself as Bong James. Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. And, they think that we're stupid, and they think that we're going to forget about all the lies that they gave us during the first administration of Trump and then during the Biden administration. They think we're going to forget about those things. But, yeah, there we go. Let's go ahead and take a few calls. Some libtard says that I can't debate. Well, you know what? Here's a problem. I don't have the patience for stupidity. If you don't like the United States of America, don't waste my time. Don't waste my time. If you are a Trump hater, don't waste my time. Because it doesn't matter what proof, what facts we talk about, you always deny it. Now, Manuel Correa, I think this is on the landscape mode. You play it safe. See, when I say I want the Democrats, Republicans, or independents to come onto my channel because we want to put America first, that's because I am neutral. But I don't say that I'm independent so I don't get blamed for supporting Republicans and so I don't get blamed for supporting Democrats. I am in my own stand. You say either side, but you have no facts to defend your comments. You like to blame both sides and make you look like you're some innocent bystander, but you're not. You are a lying snake, a hypocrite who doesn't know what the truth is if it smacks you in the face. I know what I stand on. And I believe Trump has done a tremendous job so far. So, if you want to debate me about something that I talk about on my program, I welcome your phone call. Let's go. I will give you 5 minutes of uninterrupted time. Do not ask me questions because you know where I stand. You tell me 5 minutes. Tell me why you do not support Trump and why do you think that the last shitty-ass Biden administration is the way to go. Here you go. Phone number's right there. We will go ahead and play some music while you make up your mind or care to grab some cojones and try to give me a call so that we can have a nice talk. Thanks for subscribing. Appreciate that. Heather. Thank you, Heather. Appreciate it. What do we got here? Let's see. Let me play you some music while you make up your mind. Gather all your researches, Google shit around, and just ask me a question and see where we at. What is this? Good vibes? No. Good vibes? No. How about... No, we did that one. How about some bass buzzer? Let's take a look at this. Let's take a listen to this while you guys make up your mind. Let's go! Oh, here we go. We got a courageous soul right here. Hey, thank you for calling. Who is calling?
I am a Vietnam veteran and a 100% Trump supporter.
Oh,
glad to hear
too
you're
easy.
on the air.
Too easy. All right. What do you want to add, sir? You got 5 minutes to give your speech.
Okay, just curious about what is really going to happen to the IRGC. I don't believe that we should allow any of them to survive, because if they do, then it's going to be there forever. They'll just survive and start getting money somewhere and continue being a threat to the Middle East and the whole world.
Yes,
what do
sir.
You think?
I agree with you 100%. And that's the one thing that I don't understand yet about Trump. I'm hoping that there is a plan for that. I'll refuse to believe that 1 million soldiers that are, dedicated to the Islamist regime are truly dedicated. And I hope that they will change their mind. Maybe with a different leader, they will follow a different path. But I agree with you 100%. And this is one of the questions that I actually have, because in my opinion, I would follow through with what President said. We're going to annihilate the whole civilization of this Islamic regime. People think that civilization, just because we're civilians, they think that when we say annihilate civilization, they think that we're talking about a population, that we're talking about people.
No.
We're talking about I can call it
regime.
It is the regime that we're trying to annihilate. That is the only civilization we're trying to get rid of, all this satanical Islamists. But you know what? I agree. And that's the only question that I have for President Trump. It's why don't we just go take them all out? I mean, it's just to leave them alive. They're just going to come back with their poisonous, tactics. And here's the only one thing that I can tell you, biblically speaking, even if you're not a believer. The Bible says that in the end of times, right before Jesus Christ comes, Israel will be hit with a wound of death, meaning that they're going to perish. But before that happens, Jesus Christ is going to come. And the thing is, and the thing is that this Islamist regime people, they think that if they rush these wars against Israel, that they can control when Jesus comes back. Now, they think that their God is going to come for them, but we know that Jesus is going to come to us according to the Bible. And so, the thing is this. It always brings me back to the story of Lot. Remember the story of Lot, right?
Oh, yeah. He had 2 daughters, and they had children through him when they got him drunk.
Yeah. Well, the main story of Lot is this. And the main story of Lot is this, that Jesus sent, right? Am I confusing the names? No, it has to be Lot.
Yeah.
Lot, his wife was turned into a pillar of salt, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it is Lot.
She looked back.
Okay, so the whole thing was that God sent a couple of angels to save his family.
Right.
And and Lot actually asked, "Hey, no, you don't destroy them. What if there's like 100 people there, right? That are good." 50,
Yeah.
20,
okay.
10.
Now, wait, that was Abraham that told God that, didn't he?
Not Abraham. No, not Abraham.
Lot. Okay, go ahead.
I am so right now. I'm so like if I'm gonna have to read my Bible again. Shit. But I think it was Lot. I want to say that it was Lot. Because
He was in
Sodom and Gomorrah. Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So you
And
know,
his 2 daughters and the people and 2 angels came to see him. And
That's
the
it.
People from Sodom wanted
Yep.
him to give them up to them.
That is
so they
correct.
could sodomize them.
Correct. Yes. So the whole idea about that story that comes to mind now is that the Islamic regime, they think that they can control the prophecies that has been written in our Bible, number one, and then also in their Quran. And that's not how it works. Just because you know that there is a prophecy doesn't mean that you go after it, that you're going to fulfill it. There is a big movement, and right now that movement is not it. It's not time. You know, again, I can be a hypocrite by saying that, right? Because only God knows the time.
That's true. Not
Only
even Jesus knows when that's going to be. That's
right. Yeah. So, and the reason why that is because, and this is just my little human brain, common sense going in and saying this. If I tell my kids, we are going to go on a trip, my kids know that there is a trip, but only I know when that trip is going to happen, because I got to make sure it's the right time. I got to make sure I got the money down for it. I got to make sure that the bills are paid for before I can say, okay, this is the date, let's go. So, and that's kind of how we are today. We're waiting for God to make up his mind and say, okay, that's it. I'm sick of this, guys. I'm coming in. You know, only God knows. And so, I'm with you 100%. I think we should annihilate them. We should get rid of them completely. But hopefully by showing mercy, we can guarantee at least a few years of peace in the Middle East. And I believe that it's supposed to be like 7 or 10 years of peace, and then it's going to happen again, and then Jesus will come. But again, we don't want to put a date on that at all.
That's right.
Yeah.
Only God knows. And here's an interesting thing, too, is I'm sure you'll agree. Jesus said, when the disciples asked him, when are you coming again? He said, it will be after the word is spread to every person on the earth. And let me say one thing about that. I don't know, I didn't tell you this, but I'm an 85-year-old Vietnam veteran.
God bless you.
And I have been publishing a blog every night for 14 straight nights called OurDailyBread101.com, and it's in 202 countries and 3,400 cities.
Nice.
And the Lord's put it on my heart to reach the 6+ billion people that have not been born again.
Yes, sir.
And that's a burden that's on my heart and on your heart also.
Yes, sir.
Because that's what we don't want anyone to be left behind at the rapture.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you something, and people don't understand this, and I never have said this before. And I hope that it's okay to say now, because I always believe that God will speak to people, right? But the reason why, as a Christian, talk the way that I talk, act the way that I act, is because, like the Apostle Paul said once in the Bible, he says, to all I will be all, so that I may win all for God. And we have a lot of Christians who, they don't preach. They kind of preach the good news, but they're going to this whole sin of greed. You know what I'm talking about? Asking for money all the time, and this is the only way that God's going to bless you, and that's a lie. That's not how God blesses you. Money is not always a blessing. Not all good money is good money. You know,
it's a curse to a lot of people.
It is. Absolutely. It is a curse. But here's the thing. I have learned this, and I don't have a church because I have this problem, okay? But I don't have a problem with God. If you can go to a Christian church and you are edifying, if you're being fed by the Holy Spirit, even though the pastor might be a piece of junk, but because you are there seeking the presence of God, not of the pastor, that you will still be blessed. And if you do anything with faith, you will be blessed, and God will bless you and multiply your earnings. That's the way that the Bible says. But I cannot, in good conscience, just accept any church. It has to be a true believing, most likely a non-denominational, to be honest. But I am the way that I am as a Christian because I feel like this is the time where I need to be the way that I am today. A lot of Catholics, they probably come to my channel and they probably hate me and probably leave or whatever. But let me tell you something. The Roman Catholic Church, and I say Roman Catholic because it is written in Apocalypse that the Roman Catholic is the harlot. It is a whore in the church with many branches, which, Catholics, this is the Roman Catholics, the first church. God put Peter to be the founder of the first church. So I understand that. Correct. That's right. And so when Peter died, I try to make this, this common sense argument that the reason why God buried Moses, right, is because he didn't want anybody to build a shrine and worship him. And when Peter died, even himself says, I don't even deserve to be crucified in the manner that Jesus Christ was. So crucify me upside down. And this is what we take as the Antichrist symbol now, one of them in the Catholic Church, is because that is the opposite of Christ. And Peter was the only one who actually experienced the type of miracles that Peter experienced, like walking on water. Just imagine a few seconds, maybe minutes, right? But a few seconds of real faith.
Yes.
Nobody in the history besides Jesus have I seen in the Bible having that sort of faith to walk on water. It is amazing. And, disciples, they were, they were sent out to do these miracles. And I'm going to touch up on the Trump Jesus thing.
Yeah.
Because the disciples, you have to remember that these are all Jews, these are all Nazarenes and whatever else is mixed in the Middle East over there, right? So they all dress alike. They all have robes. They dress the same way. If you go to an Arab country right now and you have the prince, how do they look like? Besides that little crown that they wear on their head, same robe, same collars, same mantles. And so for specifically Catholics, and those ignorant people that don't know what a Christian is, they go and say, why is Trump saying that he's Jesus Christ? When did he say that? He was the chosen one. So was Biden. So was Obama. God chooses all those people so that we can learn things from them, so that we can learn to seek his presence, to seek his guidance, to show us how weak men are and how strong he is. Trump is not strong because he's a strong man. Trump is only as strong as God allows him to be. And I think he's doing the right decisions, besides what you and me agree to disagree with him on, right, with the Islamist regime.
And the Lord rescued him in July of 24.
Absolutely.
At the right time.
That's right. Just move a little bit to the side. Just a little bit, and that saved his life.
Millimeters, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And people say, that was fake. Well, tell that to the fireman that died behind him. Yeah.
Right. Hey, but back on the Catholics a second.
Yeah.
I'm a Baptist myself. I've been a Christian for 75 years. I'm 85 years old.
Wow.
But the thing is, Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life.
Correct.
And John 3:16 tells it all, because he said, "For God so loved the world that he gave his life, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life." Which means Catholics, as long as they believe, as long as they accept Jesus Christ, their personal Savior, and ask him into their heart, repent of their sins, and give him control of their lives, then the big thing happens. They're born again, and the Holy Spirit comes into their soul, seals their position in heaven, and writes their name where? In the
book of life.
Book of life. If your name ain't in that book, you ain't coming into heaven.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, and the thing that unfortunately that Catholics believe is that they can just confess their sins to a man, and everything is good, and they can pray to the Virgin Mary, which is, of course, she's not a virgin. They can pray to any idol in the church, and they think that that's okay. Well, it's not. But again, they're still Christians, and God is going to judge them at the end of the day. Of course, we're going to be judged for everything too. Our idol can be women. Our idol can be money. Our idol can be alcohol. Our idol can be weed. Our idol can be so many things: greed, pride, etc. And we need to choose God every single time. All right. Thank you so much, Vet. I appreciate you. God bless you. Thank you so much for your service.
I pray for your radio. It is great. I hope 100 million people are listening to it. God bless you.
Thank you so much. Be blessed. Take care.
You bet. You too. Bye-bye.
Wow, what a blessing to hear an 85-year-old vet. I think he said 85, right? To be able to call and give me a compliment. Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate that. That is the family that I have in here. I have a lot of vets on my channel, and they all give me their support. And they're my members, and, you know, we are in the same fight, you know, together. So we don't claim to know everything. I don't claim to know prophecies. I do understand what prophecies are and what prophecies are made. But I am not going to put my life on the line to say, you know, that this is it. Only God knows. We are giving prophecies so that we can make choices. You know, I can say, like I told you before, our future is already done. It's already made. Nothing that you can do today will change that. But who do you want to be today? And I would like to know that I am going to make it all the way through. Okay? That's the only difference. That's all. Hey, thanks for calling. Who's calling?
Hey, Dennis, this is Mel with Mel Politics and Reactions.
Hey, Mel, what's going on, man?
I'm doing all right.
What you got?
You know, I like a lot of the stuff that you're speaking about. What I wanted to add to the conversation is the same way that in politics, identity becomes such an issue, right?
Yeah.
With whether you're black or white or Hispanic or this or that, identify as.
Yeah.
Male or female, they, them, all that confusion.
Yeah.
I would say connect that workings in the sense of Christianity also, because, you know, people like to categorize it as, I agree with you in the sense of false idols and all that, but I do also believe that if you do seek God, right?
Yeah.
And you seek him with all your heart, and you do it the right way, God will show you who he is.
Absolutely.
And will show you the right way to him.
That is a promise.
There are Muslims in Middle East countries that never have heard or knew of Jesus Christ that in dreams ended up converting to Christianity. And, you know, I would rather even more like to say it as followers of Christ. And I just wanted to add that. It's just a way of confusion that's occurring in our world, in which everyone has to identify as something, and it's just a form of division that evil and Satan is using to, you know, make us all, you know, divided. And I mean, I'm a big speaker in my channel of, if you're complaining about the president, right? You're complaining about the president, whether it's Joe Biden or Obama, or Trump, but you don't even know who your local mayor is.
Right.
And that's who really affects you.
Yeah.
Serious. So these are people that don't understand just basic politics.
Yeah.
And if, you know, I'm a big supporter also of, you know, not mixing church and state.
Yeah.
But at the same time also, it's the same way that I see that occurring in that, you know, maybe we live in a world where it has to be blended, and, you know, it's just good versus evil.
Yeah, absolutely. And that, you know, that's no wonder you agree with me, because I believe that. You know, I believe that you should know who the governor is and who the mayors are of your city. You know, because if you don't know who they are, that means that you're not paying attention to where your taxes are going to, what programs are being put out there and laid out for the people. And this is why, because of the ignorance of the people. Remember, the Bible says that my people perish because of ignorance, because of lack of knowledge. And a lot of voters, they have gotten so complacent to be Republican or Democrat. They don't question. They don't think who they're voting in. And we've gotten to this point where every single vote that comes in through the ballots always comes in voting towards sexual immorality, you know, human impurity. We want to, you know, hateful against ourselves. They you know, high taxing, everything. And people just vote Democrats because they're Democrats. I'm a Democrat by choice, right? But the Democratic Party doesn't exist anymore. And this is something that you probably heard me say before. But, you know, the people don't think about it. You are 100%. At least get to know who your mayor is. What do they stand for? What are they doing for your local community? Because before you go and say President Trump or President Barack Obama or Biden or whoever the next president is going to be, it's their fault. Find out who's in charge of your city, who's in charge of your county, who's in charge of your state. Are they doing a good job? If they are fighting for you.
Also, your school board's a big one.
Oh, my gosh, bro.
They're teaching your children.
Listen, the superintendent of the education here in Washington State, the guy believes that there's more than two genders. this is the super. This bro. It's crazy. Again, we have a lot of mental health problems, and what's funny to me is that it's not really funny, but what's funny is that the same people with the mental issues want to have a cognitive test done on President Trump. Please. Bro, the guy's 79. He's about to be 80 years old 2 days before my birthday. The guy is on his A game. He might not be as mobile. I'm not going to lie to you right now. I'm working on my body. It hurts to bend over when I wake up in the morning. And so I don't bend. I'm not as flexible and oily as I used to be. No pun intended with Didi. But, I'm not as lubricated on my joints as I used to be. So, pain is there. But, the whole thing is you should know, man, who is in charge of your local government before you go outside of the state judgment, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, and some of the comments I've gotten to some of my videos, are just ridiculous. One person said, it works from top down. And I said, I respectfully had to, decline with this. I still thanked him for the comment, but my response was that's total nonsense. You don't understand that there's divisions of power.
Yeah.
And, some people don't even understand. Also holding Congress accountable.
Yeah.
People think we're in a complete democracy when you just vote for president, but no, we are a representative democracy. So at the point that person gets set in power to represent you, they could do whatever they want if you don't hold them accountable.
Yeah.
They could run amok.
Yeah.
Term limits also for Congress is a big deal because we don't want these Nancy Pelosi's and Mitch McConnell's and Chuck Schumer's that have been sitting in the seat for decades, just not changing anything. Going for themselves. So, I mean, there's still a lot that needs to change in this country. And I have a lot of respect for you because you did it the right way. I'm Puerto Rican myself.
Let's go, Boricua.
I'm an Army veteran. And, you did it the right way. And I respect you big time for that.
Right on, brother. Hey, since you're a Boricua, let me ask you a question. I read this, but I never got too deep into it. I heard that Puerto Rican organizations, in Puerto Rico, of course, are doing some sort of... not a mandate, but request or something like that about $350 million, I think, to build solar panels for Puerto Ricans, and that they're actually complaining to the Puerto Rican governor, their president, because $350 million didn't make it to these people who actually have a need for this. Have you heard about this story?
Well, it may. See, the problem is there's a lot of disinformation going around because, and I'm not instantly going, oh, hey, fear-mongering or saying it's a conspiracy or anything. But at the same time, there's a lot of things that Puerto Rico wants to do for the energy infrastructure in Puerto Rico because when it was built, it wasn't built for the people. It was built for the corporations and the tourism.
Yeah.
So a lot of people have their lights turned off and the hot water go out in Puerto Rico and the local people. And they native people of Puerto Rico, and they have to suffer with that. I believe that may be addressing that, but one concern is also a lot of gentrification and people moving to Puerto Rico and trying to pretty much, not so much gentrification, but do big buildings and build commercial areas. And it's offending the Puerto Rican people because it will affect the local wildlife.
Yeah.
So those are all, but one concern is also, here's a problem I have also. For the longest time, I always thought that Donald Trump was the one who instituted the Financial Control Board in Puerto Rico, and he didn't.
Nope,
he
didn't.
actually fired about 5 people from that board.
That's right. They don't like him for that.
Obama is the one who put that in place. No one was elected in that control board to control the finances in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
How is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's why they don't like him either. But that is the price for doing what's right. That's when you have a corrupted government and politicians and whoever's in place.
That's a big problem in Puerto Rico too. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but there's a lot of corruption and a lot of the money doesn't get to the people. That's why I'm a big advocate of Puerto Rico becoming a state, even though I fear it being like Hawaii.
Yeah.
But it something needs to be done because the status quo isn't working. The Jones Act, where goods need to go to Florida before they go down to Puerto Rico, which makes it more expensive. For the local economy.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Thank you so much, Mel. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for the call, brother.
Love your channel. Keep doing what you're doing. I'll keep watching, sir.
All right. Much love to you, brother. Boricuas, Puerto Rico. Yes, viva. Sir. Viva Puerto Rico.
Muchas gracias.
Saludos, papa. All right. Fantastic. Hey, Boricuas represent, baby. J.R. Vasquez, if you are listening, God bless you, bro. Big shout out to my Puerto Rican Boricua brothers and sisters out there. I know that the leftist socialist Democrats invest a lot of money, which is very interesting, that they spend billions of dollars, I kid you not, billions of dollars advertising against any right-wing politician or any sort of ideology of freedom for the people. Socialist Democrats today are a union of Marxist communists, and you see this throughout the world, and you can't deny it. Maybe you can call it something else, but that's the way I see it. All right, we're going to go ahead and take a break from that. So let me remove the call in here. And no, you won't be able to call my phone number now. But let's go ahead and get to our first stream of the day. This has happened a couple hours now, maybe more now since I've been talking to you for so long. But this is President Trump signing an executive order about some drugs or something. Let's take a listen.
They're tremendous professionals, medical professionals most, and some military like Marcus, some great military professionals too, real hero. Today I'm pleased to announce historic reforms to dramatically accelerate access to new medical research and treatments based on psychedelic drugs. In many cases, these experimental treatments have shown life-changing potential for those suffering from severe mental illness and depression, including our cherished veterans. Our veterans are having a tremendous hard time. You know, the suicide rate, we have it down a little bit, but they are having a hard time. And I got a call from a number of people, including the great Joe Rogan, and he said, we have to do something about this. And I looked into it. I called Bobby, I called Oz, I called Marty and Jay, and it was uniform support. And I said, so why would we wait 3 or 4 years to get it done? Or 10 years, frankly. Let's get it done immediately, and that's what happened. This has probably never been anything happened so quickly. Everybody is so strongly in favor of this. It's for a lot of people, but it's for our military in particular. The suicide epidemic among veterans is a national tragedy. Since 9/11, we've lost over 21 times more veteran lives to suicide than on the battlefield. So we lose, think of that, 21 times more. And today we're bringing them new hope. I think you're going to see a big difference and a big reduction in that number. I want to thank Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who's a fantastic, where are you, Bob? Over here. He always makes it difficult for us. He's done a great job, too. And people love him. And more importantly, your wife is here someplace, Bobby. She's out there. Where are you? Where are you? The real boss in the family. Yeah. It's fantastic. Thank you very much for being here. As well as FDA Commissioner Marty McCary, CMS Administrator Dr. Mehmet Oz, NIH Director Dr. Jay Bhattacharya. See how easy that name is, Doctor? You know, it used to give me a little trouble. That was a tough name. Congressman Morgan Luttrell, who's a friend of mine and he's a real war hero. He knows something that a lot of us will never find out about. Retired U.S. Navy SEAL Marcus Luttrell, the two of them. I don't know what's in your blood, fellas. You guys are good mom and dad.
My mom and dad.
Yeah, good somebody. Good to have you. Joe Rogan, who's a fantastic person. We did a little interview before the election. We had over 300 million people. And I said, oh man, I hope Kamala doesn't do it. And she didn't. He wanted her to do it, but she didn't. Someday Joe's going to explain why. I could tell you why. But along with many other, because she didn't want to, with many other veterans. And I just want to thank the people behind me are outstanding. It's an amazing group. The executive order I'm signing, we're actually signing the executive order today, is really a moment. It directs the FDA to expedite their review of certain psychedelics already designated as breakthrough therapy drugs. They're very much being discussed. It's one of the hottest things I think you're talking about, Oz, right? It's nothing. If these turn out to be as good as people are saying, it's going to have a tremendous impact on this country and other countries too. These treatments are currently in the advanced stages of clinical trials to ensure that they're both safe and effective for the American patients. And the nice part is we're actually doing this early, but it has been going on. Research has been going on for quite some time. But you know, usually with things like this, nothing ever happens, no matter how the research ends up. But we're changing that. This order will clear away unnecessary bureaucratic hurdles, improve data sharing among the FDA and the Department of Veterans Affairs, and facilitate fast rescheduling of any psychedelic drugs that become FDA approved. And we think many of them will go very quickly. And I have to say the most favored nations pricing that I established, has been knocking the cost of drugs down by 50, 60, 70, 80%. And I also want to thank you and Bobby for the great job you've done. It's incredible. The press refuses to write about it. I think it's probably as big as what we're talking about today. The drug costs are going down and by the way, Trump RX, which is the way you go to get your very low cost drugs. But when you think in my first term, for 28 years, drug prices went up, and I got it down 1/4 or 1/8%. I was so proud of myself. It's the only one that in 28 years got them down. And I had a news conference to explain how great I was. I said, I'm the greatest there ever was. I got it down 1/8%. Okay? I was very proud because it only went up. For 28 years, it went up. Now I got it down a little bit. And now I got it down 50%, 60%, 70% with these guys. So now I am, you know. But nobody wants to write about it. But it doesn't matter because the people have found out and they're getting, you know, we're the highest, we were the highest in the world by far. Sometimes would be 10 times higher than other countries. You'd buy a drug, I call it the fat pill or the fat drug. You'd buy it in London, you'd buy it for $10 for a pill, let's say, or a pill generally, but actually to be specific, London, $87, New York, $1,300. I said, how can that be possible? How can it be possible? $87. And actually a friend of mine called me up and he said, you know, he's a very rich guy, and he happens to be on this Ozempic, I guess, at the time. And it was not working, by the way. The guy was extremely successful, but highly neurotic, got a lot of problems. I will not mention his name. He's begging me not to mention it because he's become quite famous. He's a big factor here. But he's very smart, very rich guy, very, very successful guy. And he said, hey, President, he used to call me Donnie. Now he calls me President, sign of respect. He said, I'm in London. I bought this stuff for $87. In New York, I pay $1,300. What's going on? I said, well, that's the way it is. We pay the highest prices in the world. And it sort of hit me that how ridiculous it is. Made, by the way, he checked it. He had a whole big research done on it because he couldn't believe it. Made in the same factory, same plant, everything was the same except the price. And now we are the lowest price. We are tied. In other words, whatever the lowest price in the world is, that's the price we pay. That's a tremendous difference. So we'll be paying, they go up a little bit. So the 87 will go like to 120 and we'll go down from 1,300 to 120. So we'll have these massive price cuts and they've already started. And I think it's one of the biggest things, but unfortunately the press doesn't like to talk about it. But because if I were a Democrat, it would be headlines all over the place. But so I do that. That's why I like live television, actually. It's great because you can't do any cutting. But we're so honored by that, and that's going to have a huge impact on this also, because the pricing, not only is it important, but the pricing is going good. And you're going to get the rescheduling done, right, please? So will you get the rescheduling done, please? You know, they're slow walking me on rescheduling. Okay, you're going to get it done, right? In 2024 study from Stanford University, 30 special operation veterans with traumatic brain injuries underwent, it's called ibogaine treatment. Ibogaine. Remember the name. Is that pronounced relatively properly, what you said? Yes. I don't want to get it wrong. Ibogaine, because it's so important, and experienced an 80 to 90% reduction in symptoms of depression and anxiety within 1 month. Can I have some, please? I'll take some. I'll take whatever it takes. I don't have time to be depressed. You know, if you stay busy enough, maybe that works too. That's what I do. In Texas, Republican leaders have already committed $50 million to the ibogaine research, and today the federal government is making a $50 million research investment in its own, and so that was just approved just last night. We're also opening a pathway for ibogaine to be administered to desperately ill patients under the right to try law. That's a law that I started and I got, right to try. Very proud of that. Was done in my first term, and I used to marvel at the fact that people that were terminally ill could not get a drug. They're terminally ill, they're going to die, and the FDA, right, Marty? That's right. Jay? The FDA was protecting them from dying, but they're going to die. And so we have these incredible drugs, and they may work and they may not work, but we wouldn't let anybody get them because they were bad for your health. But these are people that were going to die. And it never made sense to me. So one of the first things I did early in my term, and it was very tough to get, actually, hard to believe. It was very tough with Congress, but they came through, the Republicans came through. And we have something called Right to Try, and we've saved thousands and thousands of lives. That's if you're terminally ill or very ill, and there is a new drug that is not available because it's gone through the process of the FDA, and Marty's cut that process down by 50%. We're down, it used to take 12 years, and now we have it down to 5 or 6 years, and it's one of the most important things that you can do. But if you're terminally ill, and there's a new drug that may work or may not work, but it hasn't been approved yet, you sign a document, and you're not going to hold the country liable. You're not going to hold the drug companies or the insurance companies or anybody liable. And you have the right to try. And what it's done, and nobody wanted it, the insurance companies hated it, even the doctors, they were all afraid of it because they didn't want to be sued. But I took all of the liability out of it. You sign a document, you're not going to sue the doctor, you're not going to sue the hospital, you're not going to sue anybody, including the country. And everybody signs it like immediately. And we have tens of thousands of people on this, and we've saved thousands and thousands of lives. And what it has done, we never thought of it so much as, but what it has done is, in some cases, these drugs are working so good, it literally cures people that were terminally ill. But it's one of the things I'm most proud. I'm proud of a lot of things we've done, but that's one of the things we're most proud of, Right to Try. But I've always believed in ensuring that the American patients have access to breakthrough treatments and therapies with love for our veterans. And I have real love for our veterans. I was with a group yesterday. It's incredible what they've gone through. And care for American patients. Today's order will ensure that people suffering from debilitating symptoms might finally have a chance to reclaim their lives and lead a happier life. You know, just lead a happier life. They've been through so much. So I'd like to ask Secretary Kennedy to say a few words, followed by Commissioner McCary, Marcus Luttrell, Joe Rogan, and anybody in the group that would like to speak. You're tremendous people. I know many of you. You're really highly respected people. And the Luttrell family is well represented, but I don't mind having both Luttrells. Both Luttrells can say a few words, okay? Great people. And so, Bobby, do you want to start it off, please?
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
President.
you so much.
Good morning, and thanks to the leadership of President Trump for making this historic day possible. Under the executive order, HHS will accelerate research, approval, and access to new mental health treatments, including psychedelic therapies such as ibogaine. We're taking this decisive step to confront one of the most urgent public health challenges facing our nation, the mental health crisis. More than 14 million Americans live with serious mental illness, and 1 in 4 adults experiences a diagnosable disorder each year. Suicide has risen by more than 30% over the past 2 decades, with another peak in recent years. Among veterans, more than 6,000 die by suicide each year since 2001. We have lost far more veterans to suicide than to combat. At the same time, millions of Americans living with depression, PTSD, addiction, and other conditions do not respond to existing treatments. We owe it to our warfighters and veterans to turn over every stone to alleviate the emotional and mental health blowback from their deployments. It's disturbing to me and to the President that hundreds, in fact thousands of veterans are having to travel to Mexico or other countries to experiment with interventions that hold great promise, but for which our knowledge is still insufficient. This executive order will remove the legal impediments that block American researchers, scientists, physicians, and clinicians from properly studying these medicines and, where appropriate, establishing protocols for their safe therapeutic use. We're directing the FDA to prioritize therapies that have received breakthrough therapy designation, treatments that early evidence suggests may improve what we have today. We're expanding the use of right to try so that eligible patients with treatment-resistant conditions can access these therapies under medical supervision. We're also coordinating with the DEA and the Department of Justice to begin rescheduling reviews after successful phase 3 trials. When the FDA determines that therapy is safe and effective, patients should not face avoidable delays in access. At the same time, HHS will work with states, the Department of Veterans Affairs, and other federal partners to strengthen research and share clinical data. We will use that data to support faster, evidence-based decisions. Through ARPA-H, HHS will allocate, as the President says, at least $50 million from existing funds to partner with states that are advancing these therapies. We will support those efforts with funding, with technical assistance and data sharing consistent with applicable law. Researchers at Johns Hopkins, Stanford, and Harvard, and other leading institutions have reported meaningful and, in some cases, extraordinary clinical improvements. If these results continue, these therapies could offer longer-lasting relief, not just symptom management, and reduce economic burden of mental illness, which costs this country hundreds of billions of dollars every year. This policy creates a strict, science-based pathway for FDA approval and controlled medical use. The bottom line is progress in mental health treatment has not matched the scale of the problem. I want to thank Joe Rogan for helping bring national attention to innovative, potentially life-saving treatments for veterans and others living with mental illness, and for pushing this conversation into the mainstream. I also want to thank Representative Morgan Luttrell from Texas and former Navy SEAL Marcus Luttrell for their leadership on this issue. I also want to thank the CEO of Americans for Ibogaine, Brian Hubbard, and the organization's ambassador, former Navy SEAL Henry Berkowitz, and former SEAL Team 6, Rob O'Neill. I want to thank a couple of people for getting this record time across the finish line, Callie Means and Dr. Heidi Overton. Thank you, Heidi, for your leadership and for your attention to detail, which is often frustrating. I'm always right, so thank you, and thank you above all, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Bobby, and you're fantastic. Bobby's really done an amazing job. You know, MAGA, it's a big deal, and I want to thank you. You work so hard, Oz and everybody up here, and I just want to thank you. Great job. And it's somewhat outside of the box, would you say? And that we need outside of the box a little bit, right? Would you say, Oz? Marty, please.
Great. Thank you, Mr. President. Next week, the FDA will issue 3 national priority vouchers for serotonin 2A agonists, also known as psychedelics. Under this new program, in this administration, drugs can get approved in weeks, not a year or a year plus, but in weeks, if they are in line with our national priorities. We have 18 vouchers in the program. We'll be adding 3 more next week. This is an unmet public health need, and there are potentially promising treatments. That's why there's a sense of urgency around this. That's why we're doing it now. The applications are about to come in, so this is the natural, perfect timing for this announcement. For many men and women, they have been fighting battles on the ground. But even after the wars are over, those battles continue in their mind. Now, there are a lot of medications in medicine where we don't know exactly how it works, but we see profound results. If we actually listen to those who experience the therapeutic value, we can learn as a medical field. We just have to listen. The stories of those individuals with dramatic results, that is data. That is scientific data, even from a single individual. We also have randomized controlled trials. And we have to do that because we need to be able to say there's good support when we recommend these therapeutics. If you look at those trials, there's a 30 to 40% remission rate for conditions like PTSD. Otherwise, we got nothing. We have almost nothing for these conditions. And today, the FDA is also announcing the first ibogaine investigational new drug clearance. This will pave the way for the first and ever human trials in the United States. To be clear, the FDA will also have criteria and circumstances that have to be used to administer these drugs. These drugs can have side effects, and so it's not like you go to the pharmacy and pick it up. It's like medications that are administered in an ICU or an operating room. There are criteria for doing it in a controlled setting. Finally, given the urgency of today's mental health crisis, I just want to thank you, Mr. President, and say the FDA is proud to support this broader effort to evaluate new therapeutics for some of the greatest Americans we have in this country.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr.
Doing a
President.
great job, too. Appreciate it. Marcus?
Yes, sir. To start off, Mr. President, thank you so much for having us in here and doing this. You're going to save a lot of lives with it. I'd like to say how grateful I am to have had the opportunity to go through the program and receive the ibogaine. It absolutely changed my life for the better. I went through a lot of the programs that the veterans are going through, and I always kind of felt like I was a victim coming out of the program. When I came out of this, I felt like I had gotten my life back. That was 5 years ago. I literally lived the best days of my life every single day. I'm so thankful for everybody who's in this room to help out with this. I know this is kind of a new frontier for us, and just the fact that we're taking this kind of slow as smooth as fast, and we're getting it in there so we can test this out so we don't get ahead of ourselves. I think that's very impactful. I think there's a lot of people out there that need help, not only our veterans, but our civilian population that can benefit from this. And it's going to do great things for our country to get it back on track and open up a lot of doorways and pathways for us to be successful in the future. Thank you for your time.
That's fantastic. So you've done this 5 years?
Yes, sir.
And it's just been a whole different thing.
Every single day is a better day for me.
Wow, that's amazing. Well,
I can vouch for that.
This guy's got guts. Come here. This guy's two good guys. I didn't realize you were involved in it already. It's the best testament you can have. There's nothing better than that. A man who's really respected by everybody, and he's a fantastic person, Joe Rogan, to say a few words, please, Joe.
Well, I want to say that I'm here because of the man to my left. Brian Hubbard and former Texas Governor Rick Perry came on my podcast. They told me how impactful this medicine is, and having that conversation with them, millions of people got a chance to hear their story, hear the stories of all the different people that have had life-changing experiences from it. And I want Brian to be able to speak about this.
Good. Brian, please.
Thank you, sir.
I heard that, Joe. You have no trouble speaking. Is that no trouble speaking?
I want to assure you that my presence here is the most concrete affirmation that God has a wonderful sense of humor. Thank you. Thank you. Federal prohibition of psychedelic medicine in America is over. On the 250th year, on the 250th year of our nation's founding, everyone who has fought for this day through decades of monumental struggle, sacrifice, and suffering can now declare a seminal victory for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Rights we bear as images of our eternal Creator, whose essence is almighty, eternal, unconditional love for each and every one of us. This is the end of the beginning. We have moved mountains, yet there are mountains to move. Government systems which have relentlessly suppressed psychedelics are the same systems which will now manage their emergence. We dare not let our guard down for 1 second and be hair trigger ready to impose accountability for incompetence, obstruction, or failure. Credit belongs where credit is due. With this executive order, President Trump has delivered an epic victory for all humanity. I thank him for having the courage to make this happen, and my mission brother, Joe Rogan, for having the spine to make the ask. To our brothers and sisters in Gabon, you have our deepest gratitude for your stewardship of the sacred tree grown for the healing of nations. I will do my best to deliver the respect and honor you deserve for helping heal this nation. It is my joy to deliver these good tidings unto the meek, which will hopefully bind up the brokenhearted, proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to all who are bound. God bless you, and God bless America.
Thank you, brother.
I want to tell everybody how this happened. I sent President Trump some information. We have a gigantic opiate problem in this country, obviously. In 2024, more than 80,000 people died of overdoses. It's a horrible number. And there's more than 5 million people that are addicted to opiates right now in this country. With 1 dose of Ibogaine, more than 80% of people are free of that addiction. With 2 doses, it's more than 90%. I sent him that information. The text message came back, sounds great. Do you want FDA approval? Let's do it. It was literally that quick. These drugs are illegal not because they're harmful. They're illegal because of the 1970 Controlled Substances Act that was passed by the Richard Nixon administration. They did it to target the civil rights movement and the anti-war movement. It's not because these drugs harm people. And for 56 years, we've lived under those terrible conditions. We're free of that now. We're free of that now. Thanks to all these people that we see next to me, and thanks to President Trump.
We all respect Joe, and he's a little bit more liberal than that's okay. I have a lot of friends that are liberal, but Joe is an amazing guy, and he wrote me a little note about this, and I had it checked out. I didn't just do it. I had it checked out. I went to Bobby and Oz. I went to some of the people that work for you, real pros, and everybody came back with the same answer. You know, normally they'll come back, because this happens a lot. I have a couple of them like that, where they're not sure. It's like, you know, it goes 2 ways. This thing, everybody thought it was incredible. And I told Bobby, I said, Bobby, let's just do it and get Oz involved, and it's going to get done so quickly, and you guys did a great job. Would you like to say something else?
Mr. President, I want to thank Matt Zord, who's hiding in the back there, who actually on Sunday wrote a draft for this. You already thanked Heidi and Kelly, but you know, Susie Wiles makes everything run here. This was an unimaginable task in 1 week to be able to go from a series of connections and communications with Joe Rogan through the honey badger of them all, Bobby Kennedy, who said, we're not going to stop. We didn't start calling everyone down. The Mike Steph Spears been involved, and Chris Klump, who's been doing a fantastic job, helping run everything in great efficiency, made something. And I just want to emphasize this. This is an entire paradigm shift away from a one-day-a-pill model, which has failed so many. And to the many who are drug resistant that Joe just spoke to, this offers them a way of getting out of that rut. The question now is, can we study why it works to understand it better, to use it better? That's what Jay Bhattacharya is going to do, NIH with major funding support, perhaps some ARPA as well. Marty spoke eloquently about the FDA's accelerated pathway for this. And then we're going to, when we learn more, figure out better ways of getting access to these products through our healthcare system. This is an extraordinarily exciting day, and it would never happen if the president just would not take no for an answer. He called on the way, Joe, to the fight on Saturday. And I think he was as determined to get this done as the men in those rings and women in those rings that night. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, determined.
I want to thank Professor Nolan Williams. When I was a professor at Stanford, I got to know him, and he taught me about ibogaine and all the promise that it has for treatment-resistant depression and so many other conditions. Frankly, for me, I learned a lot. He unfortunately passed away last year. I want to thank this amazing team that just moved heaven and earth to get things done. I do want to emphasize this is something that we're still studying, and we have to keep studying. We have to figure out the right way to like make sure we administer it, that it's safe, that we don't just take it for granted. We already know everything, because we don't. And for the NIH and for ARPA-H, we are absolutely committed to making sure that we keep studying it, keep getting the best gold standard science on it. You see here Nora Volkow, who's my National Institute of Drug Abuse director. She's been an absolute hero in just developing scientific, so the commitment for American science to focus on this, and in many ways, it's that scientific advance that brought us to this moment. So thank you, President Trump.
But if it's good, we want to get it fully approved fast, right?
I mean, for the things that have great evidence, and that's what
you know, these studies, they go on for a long time, and if it's good, I mean, I have a witness right here, these two incredible brothers, that to me is a study, right?
It's just as Commissioner McCary said, there's stuff that we know and we can tell it works. We still got to figure out sometimes how it works or why it works. That we got to keep doing even as we move forward fast.
But it does work.
Some of those, I mean, absolutely, some of those treatments absolutely work. You can
Yes,
see the testament here.
I'm trying to get the answer, because it either works or it doesn't. I would think that there's been a lot of research already, indirect research, maybe the ultimate research, people that have taken it, because I've spoken to people that have taken it, aside from the trail, both of them. I've spoken to 5 people that
Mr. President, works.
That had big problems.
Done it 3 times.
Yeah,
It works.
please.
It fixed my demonic
This
relationship.
is Rob O'Neill, who's a friend of mine and a great guy. Go ahead.
It fixed my demonic relationship with alcohol. It saved my life, and then it saved my wife. So every day's a blessing. It took about 3 years of. I did it 3 times. It's a different adventure every time. That's not fun.
So without it, you would have had problems.
I did it with. There was a Green Beret 28-year sergeant major that told me when we finished, make sure you tell Amber Capone, the CEO of Veterans Exploring Treatment Solutions, that she saved my life because I was going to kill myself next week. This is my last chance. I had a 28-year veteran tell me that. This works.
Okay, good.
Mr. President,
yes.
could you ask Marcus to speak about his experience?
Thank you, Secretary. Yeah, Mr. President, what Rob O'Neill was talking about, my wife Amber Capone is the CEO of our charity VETS, Veterans Exploring Treatment Solutions. We had prayed for this day to come 10 years ago when we started the charity. We've been sending veterans outside the country, Joe, that you've been talking about for years, several thousand now, and we said the mission will end once this day happens, so we believe this is a huge step in maybe that the mission goes away and now we have affordable access right here in the U.S.
Why didn't they get it done?
We're getting it done, right? You're getting it done.
Why yet other presidents looking at it? Right? Why didn't they get it done?
I think we needed you.
That's my job. I can answer that question, sir.
Go ahead, please.
There's a small group of us in the House that have been trying to move legislation since I showed up. Mr. Correa, Mr. Bergman, Mr. McCall, Mr. Crenshaw, every year have tried to move legislation. That side of the room is not going to like what I have to say about this. And every year it has all fallen short. Every year it has all fallen short. And it's because of the proverbial roadblocks that are always in the way.
Right. Sure.
Okay, fair assessment. But those members and myself were convicted never to give up, ever. And with this executive order, I'm going to maintain composure, Mr. President. With this executive order, you have broken down those barriers and allowed us, I have all the faith in the world that this will codify and remain forever. So thank you very much for taking care of your service members and your veterans and giving the members that have been working on this for so long a chance. Thank you, sir.
Well, this, when I sign this does solve it for the 3-year, but we'll get that codified very soon.
Absolutely.
Once I sign it, we get them codified, so we'll make it permanent. I have no doubt it's going to be working. Would anybody else like to say something? These 2 women are so talented.
Well, I love an executive order that says research, 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 because it's ultimately what guides us onto how to optimally do things. And I think that this is what hopefully will start to happen and bringing up change in a system that has been very difficult to modify because of prior experiences. These drugs have unique characteristics that could actually, if we investigate them, can bring us into potential applications that currently we're not thinking about. But if we close the door to science, if we close the door to data, we'll just keep on doing the same thing again and again.
Do you think the door was closed?
It was hard.
Yes.
It was hard to do research.
It's very, very hard. And it's actually just by scheduling as a one, it makes it very
So
difficult.
this is a big move then. It's going to have
It will
big-
facilitate
bigger than
research.
just this one thing that we're talking about. That's good. That's good. I'm glad we didn't waste the Saturday morning. Please.
Yes, Mr. President, this is a much needed, bold move for precision mental health for our veterans and others, and accelerates access to personalized, targeted treatments. As you have heard, many veterans and others experiencing mental health disorders, they go through up to years of trial and error, trying one treatment that doesn't work, trying another and not knowing why. My work at Stanford and with my colleagues is to develop brain-based tests that can be measured right now in our VA and other locations that help us understand why these new treatments work and who they'll be most effective for. So with your mandate, we are in a position to really accelerate saving lives of many more people and getting them well sooner. And I believe that with this, the United States will be the first country in the world to treat mental health like we do cancer and like we do many other chronic mental illnesses.
We know the world is... The world is actually watching this because there are a lot of countries that want to do this and they haven't been able to. They're going to be following suit very, very strongly. Thank you very much, both. Anybody else? You guys okay? Everybody, let's sign it, right? Want to say something?
Mr. President, thank you. This treatment saved my life as well, and so many fellow veterans. Helped me get off opiates, stop using a nerve stimulator I had implanted, sleep for the first time in over 10 years.
Wow.
So thank you.
And you have no doubt, right?
Zero.
Wow, to me, that's the best research of all, frankly.
Absolutely.
Okay, it's my honor. Good, that's a good one. Oh, I wanted this one. See that, Joe? You think Biden can do that? He can. Do you have any questions of the folks? And I think we'll keep it on the subject pretty much. You'll have some questions on Iran, I know that, but this is such an important subject that I'd rather let this just speak for itself. And we'll be talking about Iran later. We have very good conversations going on. It's working out very well. They got a little cute as they have been doing for 47 years. Nobody ever took them on. We took them on. They have no Navy. They have no Air Force. They have no leaders. They have no nothing. Actually, their leaders are, it is regime change. You call that enforced regime change, but we're talking to them. They wanted to close up the strait again, you know, as they've been doing for years, and they can't blackmail us. In fact, a lot of the ships are coming up to Texas. I don't know if you know, in Louisiana, the ships are coming up. They got used to it. Maybe they'll keep doing it. It's worked out pretty good, but it's going actually along very well. And we'll see, but we'll have some information by the end of the day. We're talking to them. And, you know, we're taking a tough stand. They've killed a lot of people. A lot of our people have been killed. A lot of your fellow soldiers have been killed over the years by Iran. The roadside bomb. Soleimani, I killed Soleimani.
He was making the explosive form penetrators. They're making them in Iran, bringing them to Iraq and blasting through the vehicles.
Well, he was the father of the roadside bomb, essentially, and he killed a lot of people. And when you see soldiers or others, but soldiers generally walking around with no legs, with no arms, a face that's been smashed, that was Soleimani, that was Iran that did that. So we have a much different view on it than other presidents. They've gotten away with murder for 47 years. They're not getting away with it anymore. Does anybody have any questions with the great professionals, please?
So I wanted to know, could this potentially ever be available through the VA? You know, because I was talking to Liz over here, you guys have been down in Mexico together, but it's really expensive. And this is another drug that's expensive.
We have the right guy, Oz.
A lot of veterans need this.
Why are you good for this question? They're talking about expense and availability.
So I spoke to Doug Collins. Obviously, both he obviously pays for the VA, and we pay for Medicare, Medicaid, Children's Health Insurance. Are very focused on the results that the NIH and FDA are going to offer us. We have a mechanism of creating models, CMMI. That might be the wise way to go because we can continue to study the impact. This is such a massive shift in how you deliver care. Imagine if instead of taking a pill a day for your depression, you go through one treatment, but you have to have few people watching you. It's a very different world. So we're working that through. That's why the president, who I think this is the perfect step to get everything rolling, to deliver on the promise he made.
What's timing would you say on that, before you know?
We could have a CMMI model that we would announce by the end of this year. But the reason I'm not committing to that now is I want to make sure that the FDA and NIH have time, along with the great scientists, to give us a bit more information about how to deliver care. I'll give you one concrete example. For things like, well, Ibogaine is a little different story, but you would want 2 people in the room during the treatment. That's true for many of these approaches. That's a very different way of delivering medicine. And so the models that Abe Sutton runs that group for us and has done a great job for the president, that would be probably the fastest way of moving forward and give the VA data so they can make wiser decisions, because Doug Collins is very focused on this.
There's one thing I'd add. There's nothing more expensive right now than the mental health crisis in America. 21% of Americans have a diagnosable mental health condition. The second leading cause of death for young adults today is suicide. Mr. President, antidepressants right now are the most prescribed class of medications in the country. Over 20% of women are on an antidepressant.
And is that good in terms of do they work?
There's highly problematic research on the fact that over 20% of U.S. women are on these drugs that are prescribed for life. We have a mental health crisis. And
do they work?
No. They don't. Maybe I'm on a couple of them, and
I would not.
I would not. I'm not going to wait. Like I said, I think it might be next, but no, it is definitely an issue for women.
But, Mr. President, what you and Secretary Kennedy unlocked is for the first time questioning this system, that where we spend 3 times more per capita than any other country in the world, and we are living 6-7 years less. We have the highest rates of suicide and depression in the developed world. The incentives of our system.
And by the way, autism, which we're really working hard on, right, Bob?
We have the highest rates.
And we're coming up with some pretty amazing findings.
Pediatric cancer is the highest rates in the world. We are struggling and paying more than any other country, and the power of this executive order is really representative and gives validation to the cries of MAGA moms and the votes of MAGA moms, because for the first time it's taking a therapy that's one time. This is a one time, not a lifetime drug that can change someone's life, and that's the power. And I think that's why the system.
So the antidepressants, all that we read about and we prescribe to our military, they're not very effective.
It's a lifetime drug, and
well, even if it's lifetime, but do they?
Look at what's happened as we prescribe them. They're one of the most prescribed.
Well, the numbers are not great.
Perhaps I could jump in from the scientific side.
Thank you, Mr. President. What's the timeline
Hold on,
for those who
she just wanted to say something?
I think what's really important about your order is you include, we really want to understand why these rapid-acting treatments work. We need that for every treatment in mental health illnesses. Standard antidepressants in research, they do work for some people, but certainly not everyone. And if we think of cancer, all other conditions, we have a test to know which treatment is needed, and we don't have that for mental illness. It's guesswork.
This is not, with that it either works or it doesn't work, and you have the result. With this you don't know.
Part of this order, I think it's really important that we're able to have the investment to understand who does this work for, and the test to accompany that. So thank you for making that.
Do you think this could be a big step above antidepressants, what we're doing?
I think it can be identifying who doesn't respond to an antidepressant straight away, rather than waiting for years, and
What
being
percentage
able
of people respond positively to antidepressants?
20 to 30%.
That's not great.
No.
That's not great. Well, thank you very much.
Mr. President, what's the timeline for those with mental health disorders, substance abuse disorders, to readily take advantage of this treatment based upon the executive order that you're signing today?
So I'd like to ask maybe Marty that question.
Sure. So first of all, right now it's available on clinical trials. We have not had applications in-house at the FDA. There was one that came in under the Biden administration. It was kicked out and not accepted. We now have 3 applications that are imminent, and we'll be issuing vouchers next week. The fastest FDA approval was 42 days during the HIV epidemic. On our national priority voucher program under President Trump, we are now down to that time frame on a routine basis instead of a year. In my opinion, we need the same level of urgency we had with HIV for PTSD and depression and anxiety and our mental health disorder and cancer and heart disease and so many other conditions. So you're going to see decisions out from the FDA later this summer as soon as we get the applications.
That's great. That's great.
And Mr. President,
I like that. I really like that answer.
thank you, Mr. President. And then in regards to the timing of the executive order, was there not enough known about this treatment a year ago, or 5 years ago, or 8 years ago to sign the executive order that you signed?
So do you want to answer that question? Go ahead.
I just
that in 2016, the lead professor at Johns Hopkins said this was the most promising therapy that he's seen in his career, and many doctors from leading institutions said that. There's been a hold, there's been incentives against this, and it's the bravery and leadership of President Trump that's getting this
artificial barriers?
It started, and this, to be clear, is starting a fast-track scientific process that's subject to FDA approval. But this has been known among leading institutions for many times as a very promising therapy.
So could it not have been signed in your first term, or there just wasn't enough information known about it?
Nobody told me about it, frankly. I mean, I got, all of a sudden, I've been getting a lot of calls. I think a lot's, in all fairness, I think a lot's been learned over the last few years.
I should say that. I mean, a lot has been learned over the past few years. I think in the first term, if I was standing behind the president, I would be much more comfortable than I am now, thanks to the research that's been done. I mean, it's still a lot more to do. It's worked for so many people. That's really a great move to do this. But the research is really important because we're going to keep improving, keep learning, and make sure that the people get the treatment they need when they are depressed, when they are addicted, when they have PTSD. That's if you keep doing the research and also acknowledge the research that's been done. That's when you get good health policy.
And Secretary Kennedy's role, he just doesn't stop. Every day, all day long, until he gets these things done. This is not an easy boulder to push up the hill. And Secretary Kennedy was undaunted, and he'd been talking about it for a while, so he had a passion anyway. But his mentoring has allowed a lot of folks to move this quickly.
And if I can jump in rapidly, because I was one of those doctors that was not supportive of psychedelic therapy because I thought it was magical thinking. But over the past 6 to 10 years, we have seen an emergence of data that we cannot ignore. These drugs have the capacity, as was mentioned before, with one single administration to change the behavior of someone towards a therapeutic effect. In animal models, one single administration recreates pathways that have been eroded because of pathology. So we have a tool that potentially could allow us to basically manipulate the ability of our own bodies to heal itself, if we know how to properly use it. And that's why research, as I mentioned before, is opening up doors to explore what else can we do, how to optimally use it.
But you're just hearing and seeing automatic research. You're hearing and seeing things now that you wouldn't have really, you wouldn't be able to have done a couple of years ago. I mean, it just seems to me, I've been hearing about it a little bit over the last year. I never heard anything about it in the past. It was almost like taboo. It's not taboo anymore, right?
And there was not enough science neither. And I think that's where the evidence speaks for itself. And ultimately, that's why I say, I was one of those doctors that didn't believe in it. So we do data in order to change our perspective and to do things better.
I was surprised to hear about the antidepressants. I assumed they'd be better. That's not very good. So Bobby, you're gonna push it very hard?
Yes.
We'll get it done? Sounds good to me. Well, these two guys and this third with Rob too, and with you. I mean, that to me is research, right? Maybe the ultimate research, right? Big fans, all big fans. Right? Well, I want to thank everybody, and
Mr. President,
it's going to be.
All right, get him out of here. Get them all out of here. Man, that was very nice. That's very nice. Now I feel very nauseous right now because I ran out of coffee, but because I forgot that I didn't have anything to eat yesterday. I don't even think I had lunch, to be honest. Yeah, I only had breakfast yesterday. I didn't have lunch, dinner, nor breakfast or lunch today. So after I get done with this, I'll go grab me something to eat. But I want to show you something. I want to show you something from my from my X account. You guys ready for the reveal? Let's take a look and see what's going on here. Man, I got the link. I'll take a look at it real quick here in a second. Check this out.
And it's very cool. Oh my gosh. Isn't that great? Just went up yesterday. Wow.
8 gun laws just got struck down.
Hold on, SA. Nobody clicked on you. Oh my goodness. Why do they put the microphone on the microphone? Man, President Trump is hella funny, man. That is hella funny, bro. Oh my gosh, dude. Oh my goodness. Oh, boy.
Think Joe Biden would do this? I don't think so. Do you think he'd think of it?
You think he'll think of it?
Do you think he knows what it is?
Her face. Speechless. Oh, man. That is hella funny, man. That is hella funny. And with that being said, hey, guys, thank you to my members. Love you all. I appreciate your support. Don't go anywhere. Like a boss. And speaking of the boss, nobody has taken away the stream chat boss for a couple of days. Maybe I gave myself too much health. You guys cannot beat it. Too much health to recover from. I have shared already my Facebook account. You guys already seen the fraud, the mail-in fraud that's been happening. People are not, they don't want to acknowledge that it's happening and that we need to have voter ID. Listen, not everybody's going to have this mail-in voting access, and they shouldn't. But we definitely want to add this voter ID, and I know that there are some exceptions about who can vote through mail and who can't. But I think that after finding fraud in the last few years in mail-in voting, I think that, having another precaution won't hurt a bit. All right? So let me go ahead and jump in here to warning. This is a new squad member. My goodness. I don't even know if I can stand to play this one. But here we go. A new squad member by by Laura Ingram. Let's see what Laura has to share for us. Here we go.
New Jersey. I mean, stand-up comics have done this for years. The armpit of America, or, oh, you're from Jersey, what exit? All right. It's actually a beautiful state, but it's about to become a lot closer to its stereotype.
Thank you for all who casted your votes for an unbought, unbossed, sassy new member of Congress, y'all!
Y'all? Yep, the squad has a new member. New Jersey's Anelila Mejia, who handily won a special election in the 11th district. Now, she may be to the left of Mom Donnie, if that's possible, and promises to be MAGA's worst nightmare.
These radicals who clapped for a president so perverse that he insults the God that he purports to uphold, and who will watch, these radicals will watch Rome burn with all of us within, and they are simply cowards. Cowards unwilling to stand up to this madness. But we stand up. We resist. We will not allow it to continue. This system is broken, but guess what? We are the glue.
Oh my gosh, better listen to that one.
No, Laura, it's not better to listen to that. That's a real Christian right there. Yeah, because separating, God from government, church and government, I guess we don't have to. Make up your minds, leftist. Should we separate or not? Because it seems like the leftists want to say, let's separate church from God, but then the moment that we do, you guys freaking hate it. What is the problem? This retard, like literally, retard, has no clue what the hell she's talking about. Now, I'm going to say this. Maybe I'm being a hypocritical hypocrite, because she is not that retard, because she knows what stupid people vote for. And she knows, and she has seen what the East Coast and the Socialist Democrats vote for. As long as you put hate against President Donald J. Trump, the Socialist Democrats will vote for you. And I refuse to do that. Hey, Wedo, how are you, bro? At Mind Speak, welcome. I refuse to be a liar so that I can get nominated for anything. I refuse to do that. These people are all for the money, for the power. They don't give a shit about the American people. And that's a fact. Why is it a fact? Because we see it happening every single day. And all they can do is blame Trump, blame Trump, blame Trump. How about you go and take a look and see what your local government is doing about jobs, about the economy, about taxes? Why don't you go do that? And then maybe you'll have some sense to say anything about Trump. But as long as you don't condemn your local government for all the stuff that they're doing illegally, unconstitutional, and silencing the voice of the American citizens, you have no place to say anything about Trump. This is torture. It is torture.
The sound down. She's the glue, more like the acid that will dissolve more of what we need to remain an actual country. Because Mejia, like AOC and Bernie Sanders, believe that America at its core is evil and corrupt. And of course, she wants to abolish ICE, she wants universal child care, universal health care, canceling all student debt, national minimum wage up to $25, impeach Clarence Thomas and Sam Alito. Now, this menu of destructive ideas is no longer considered, though, fringe in the Democrat Party. It's gone totally mainstream. It is a deep hostility to our country, to our history, to the capitalist system. They think our entire nation was a mistake and that the only thing we deserve right now is punishment. The left used academia, things like that 1619 Project, the casual tearing down and defacing of all of our statues, monuments after George Floyd. They did all that to help poison young minds. It's so bad now that left-wing activists are rooting for Iran to humiliate President Trump and our military. We talked about that with Senator Fetterman. The media seemed giddy. He even said it. Every time it seemed like the Iran conflict was going to doom the Trump presidency, the liberals were happy. Now, as you all know, I clerked for Justice Clarence Thomas. And look, he doesn't speak all that much publicly. He gives speeches every now and then. But when he does speech, you should listen. This week he was in Texas, and it was a legacy moment and a stark warning to America.
Progressivism seeks to replace the basic premises of the Declaration of Independence, and hence our form of government. It holds that our rights and our dignities come not from God, but from government.
He spoke of a devotion to country that has sustained us through the best and worst of times.
Give me liberty or give me death. That devotion has driven the great achievements and heroism of Americans in the 250 years since. Think of the frontiersmen who settled the West. Think of the families who built their little towns on the prairies. Think of the women who raised their children to love God and country and sent them off to fight wars.
And he spoke of his own upbringing in abject poverty, raised by his grandparents in the segregated South.
Think of my grandparents who heroically, quietly, without fanfare, sat my brother and me down at the kitchen table in August of 1955 and committed the rest of their lives to us so that we could have a chance. They told us, we don't have no education. We don't have no education and no chance, but you boys are going to have a chance. It was their devotion, their love, their dedication to raising us right that has made the difference.
Yeah, I think he was getting choked up there thinking about his grandparents, everything they sacrificed. And that's America, from Pinpoint, Georgia, to the Supreme Court of the United States. And this all begs the question, are we sufficiently devoted to our country in gratitude to our framers? Or are we perpetually obsessed with this or that grievance? Our founding documents really are genius.
As we are gathered to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the Declaration, it may be tempting to do so as if we are passive spectators. It may be tempting to enjoy our tea and crumpets, treat the Declaration like a shiny object or a keepsake, and listen to the sound of our own voices. In my view, we must find in ourselves that same level of courage that the signers of the Declaration had, so that we can do for our future what they did for theirs.
Hear, hear, and I will take Justice Thomas's selfless vision of America, dedicated to our founding principles, over the squad's pessimistic, tear-down, cynical vision any day of the week. Here to weigh in is Lisa Booth, Fox News contributor, and Chris Bedford, the Beltway Brief author. Chris, look, getting back to this contrast here, the message of Justice Thomas, look, he doesn't speak a lot. You know, he was reading some of his remarks. He's not a TV personality, but those were heartfelt remarks about the country that he grew up in desperate poverty. I believe he didn't have a bed until he was in his early teens. He slept in a chair, raised by grandparents with nothing. Yet this optimistic vision of what is possible in this country, optimism versus cynicism. Chris, which story prevails here in the end?
And the first language that he spoke was Gullah, a slave dialect, not even the language he was speaking right there, not even English. He's overcome incredible things. He's seen the dark sides of America. He's seen the great sides of America, and he knows exactly where he stands. But it is under attack by a lot of people who don't remember the different struggles that we came through, don't remember the good in Americans from the very beginning. And that incredible city on a hill that he outlined there in that great speech, and he has throughout his entire life and his decisions, that's under massive threat because a lot of people don't really care about it, don't think it's worth fighting for anymore, or think it's actually bad.
And Lisa, to that point, we have this Lilia Mejia in Jersey who just won. She is giving an antithetical message to what Justice Thomas and many of his generation who grew up and came to love this country and succeed in this country believe in.
I mean, Laura, you're right. It couldn't be more different. But you pointed out that these ideas are becoming more mainstream. And that's the danger here, Laura, because if you look at New Jersey's 11th district, it's a D+5 district. We're not talking about some progressive district. We're talking about a suburban, a moderately Democrat district that, by the way, had been in Republicans' hands for decades prior to 2018 when Mikey Sherrill was able to flip it in that big election cycle for Democrats. So we're not talking about some progressive stronghold here, yet she was able to win even with these fringe ideas. So what concerns me, Laura, for this midterm elections is Democrats have the clear momentum. Is that momentum enough to override candidate quality, to override some of these candidate issues like Mejia, who's clearly outside of the norm, who's clearly a fringe candidate? And then you also look at some of these state legislative special elections so far in 2026, and the Democrats there are running ahead of where they were in 2024 by double digits. So I think Republicans need to get activated. They need to wake up and realize that this could be a bad election cycle for us if we don't turn out and we don't get motivated.
Yeah, Chris, I couldn't agree more with Lisa's diagnosis here. The Republicans are a little bit complacent, but I think we now see what's coming. Court packing, which is again becoming a mainstream idea. So pack the court, ram through open borders, mass amnesty, a national, perhaps, income tax on top of a national sales tax on top of an income tax, layered levels of regulation that will drive our energy economy right now into the ground. Chris, that district in New Jersey, by the way, is Morris, Essex, and Passaic County. $142,000 median income in that district. That, as Lisa said, that is not like we didn't think about that as a hardcore left district, but it reminds me of Fairfax County over there in Virginia. Same deal. Rich and left wing.
Fairfax County in Virginia. Exactly, and that's where I live. We've had 5 murders this year. 3 of them were by illegal immigrants. 1 of them was by a former Democratic lieutenant governor. The politicians are completely uninterested in working with ICE. Virginia is actually a good example of what we have coming for us in the country. You got Governor Abigail Spanberger, who ran as a moderate Democrat. Now she's making gun grab laws even more extreme. Her entire agenda is extreme. There's no moderation coming. But Democrats like her and up in New Jersey are all benefiting from Donald Trump. And it's not, I don't talk to very many Republicans who say don't worry about the election. They're all freaked out, but they're depressed. It's a political depression that has swept through the party. There's been so much division between people. They're fighting over Israel, They're fighting over Iran, they're fighting over this and that. And when you look up this race in New Jersey, everyone's talking about Israel. Almost no one's talking about New Jersey. It's wild where the voters are right now.
Lisa and Chris, both of you, thank you.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox.
And we have some time for the Faulkner Focus. More Fox for the people that love Fox. Here we go. The leftist favorite news channel.
Fox News, an illegal immigrant accused of a deadly arson attack in New York City last month, could be back on the streets thanks to sanctuary policies. And those policies are about people in this situation as victims being less important than the people who commit them. The fire that happened there killed 4 people, including a 3-year-old child, and it hurt 7 others. Prosecutors charged the suspect from Mexico with 8 counts of murder and arson. And now, New York Governor Kathy Hochul is trying to push those sanctuary laws to go even further to the left. Yesterday, she put forward several new anti-ICE proposals on top of the ones that she had already pushed earlier this year. And they would prevent police from cooperating with federal immigration agents banning ICE agents from wearing masks and expanding areas where ICE cannot go. No-go zones for ICE?
Local cops should be focused on local crimes. This is something that is supported by many in law enforcement who want to make sure that they can focus on the communities where the taxpayers are paying their salaries to do their jobs to protect them. Not doing ICE's job. I just want to have more protections in place that I think are long overdue. So I'm anxious to get this done.
In focus now, Congressman Brian Mast, Republican of the great state of Florida. Look, this is blatant. This is not America or Americans first. Heck, it's not even the people in our own state first. Your response?
It's illegals first, number one. You pointed that out rightly. What are those no-go zones that you were referencing? It's places like schools and hospitals. This is insanity to me. I'm a father of four. I look at this and I say, you're going to say, send my kids to school, but for somebody that is an illegal, that school would be a sanctuary for youth MS-13 or something else. Or somebody that's at a hospital, the hospital would be a sanctuary for somebody suspected of assault that law enforcement can't go there. This is why I'm so proud to be a Floridian. You have these crazy policies, psychotic policies in New York where they're telling law enforcement, don't be against crime and we don't want your help in dealing with it. That's psychotic.
Yeah, and our audience saw you salute, of course, your military background. 20% of the U.S. Protection in this country, police forces, is former military like yourself. So this puts a lot of pressure on them as they won't be able to do their jobs. I want to get to this. An emotional hearing yesterday. Families of victims killed by illegal immigrants testifying about the human toll of Democrats' sanctuary policies. Let's watch.
A classmate of his asked him for a ride home, and unbeknownst to him, that classmate wanted to murder Josh so that he could scrap his truck for some money. This creates a hole in a family like you can never imagine. It will never be repaired here. Our lives will be different. It's like a bomb was dropped in our family.
Tell Hallie's brother that he's now an only child. All because an illegal immigrant that was allowed to live in a sanctuary city while breaking our laws repeatedly until she finally murdered someone with her reckless, selfish ways.
Well, after all of that, Democrat Hank Johnson went after Republicans for having the hearing at all. Republican Brandon Gill had some words following that. Watch.
We have had mass murder after mass murder in this country perpetrated by all kinds of people. But I just want to talk about those that have been perpetrated by white males. I'm not minimizing the tragedy that is before us today with you three women, but the other tragedies at the hands of non-immigrants, just as important.
That was one of the most disgusting testimonies I have ever heard. To have Hank come in here and lecture angel families about how they shouldn't be here, how we shouldn't be holding this hearing. What the hell is wrong with you guys?
Well, it's a great question. Did you hear Hank Johnson call the grieving moms, you three women? Wow.
You know, you look at this, I don't know every illegal that was that's killed somebody or every family that suffers that's one of these angel families. But I know one story that I read about that was Richard Williams, Vietnam, Air Force veteran, standing along train tracks and pushed onto the tracks and killed. It's just another one of those stories of what? A preventable death that leaves grieving families behind. Nobody cares about whether they're black, white, brown, or any other color. We know that it's preventable if they're in the United States of America illegally. We have a commitment to stop that. And you have people like Governor Hochul saying, no, we're not going to be against that crime because it's an illegal person, and we put politics first.
Well, and you saw Hank Johnson there too. I mean, he did make it about race. He didn't make it about whether or not you're a U.S. citizen here illegally in this country. He decided to say, white men do this. Why even go there? Your last quick thought.
I think I'll go bring it back to Governor Hochul real quick. You see in what she labels these illegals in New York, she calls them New Yorkers. She calls them New Yorkers to try and convolute the issue as though she's trying to help New Yorkers, trying to help Americans. No, she's trying to help everybody but the taxpayers of New York and the places that these illegals will travel to.
Well, and they have such a deficit because of the millions and even billions of dollars that they've spent in recent years on illegal immigrants in this country, in this state of New York, rather, where I said I don't live here, but I work here, that they can't even do the basics. The new mayor says it's going to take them until 2029 to build that free grocery store he promised, the socialist mayor. I mean, it's unbelievable. Congressman Mast, great to see you. Thank you. Be sure.
I got something to show you guys. Let me see if I can go back. Give me a second here. I got something for you. This guy right here. Let me show you something. This guy right here, for some reason, reminds me of this. Who knows what that is? Who knows what that is? He's just such an idiot, such a hateful guy. That's what he reminds me of, with a fresh cut. It's just a man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Oh, man. Update. Crude oil is still at $90 and holding. WTI crude oil is at $83.85 and holding. I had to show you that. All right, so here's some news. Here is some news about some Hamas. Some Hamas garbage trying to flee Gaza. It's just ironic on the way they try to do it, okay? Just ironic. There we go. Check this out. They'll probably add that number and say that it was innocent civilians, of course. And that's just the way that it goes. That's just the way that they lie to us. Let me see if I got any new updates. Let's see. Let me see. This is 4 hours ago. Let's take a look and see what they say. Did they try to shut down the Hormuz yet again? Let's take a look.
once again closed the strait, even firing at ships trying to cross it. President Trump reacting to that just moments ago.
They got a little cute, as they have been doing for 47 years. We're talking to them. They wanted to close up the strait again, you know, as they've been doing for years, and they can't blackmail us.
Let's get to Matt Finn. He is live in Dubai with why Iran suddenly changed its mind. Matt?
Aisha, we didn't make it a full 24 hours of the Strait of Hormuz being open, and now an intelligence official tells our Trey Yingst that the Iranian regime has closed the strait again. That intelligence official saying the Strait of Hormuz is under full IRGC control and effectively closed at this moment. Multiple vessels have been forced to turn around since this morning as they attempted to pass through the strait. The IRGC opened fire on at least one vessel as part of the closure policy they declared last night. Now, yesterday, around this hour, President Trump and Iranian foreign minister announced that the strait is open. But shortly afterwards, Iranian officials started to post that Iran was maintaining restrictions to pass through the strait, including payments. And also here in the Middle East, Israel's IDF claims the 10-day ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon is not solid either. The IDF posting Hezbollah ceasefire violation. Since the ceasefire came into effect, IDF soldiers south of the Yellow Line in southern Lebanon identified several incidents in which terrorists violated the ceasefire understandings by approaching from north of the Yellow Line towards IDF soldiers, posing an immediate threat. In order to remove the threat, the IDF...
I just want to point out that one of our vets called in earlier today. You guys remember that call? And what was the one thing that I agree with him? Well, we agree with everything, but he said that we need to get all of these people, the whole regime, just wiped out. This is why. This is why I agree. This Islamic regime should be brought to its knees and annihilated completely. 100% gone. And anybody who wants to join them, let them join. I agree with the Vietnam vet on that call. And this is why.
IDF conducted precise strikes against the terrorists and terrorist infrastructure sites. Now, the president has said that the second round of peace talks could possibly be happening in Pakistan in the next day or two. But now, as Iran claims it has control of the strait again and is firing at ships, it's not clear if the 2-week ceasefire, which will expire soon, will be extended or scrapped. Here's the president last night.
If you don't have a deal by Wednesday when the ceasefire ends, will you extend the ceasefire or will
I
you
don't know.
start
Maybe
after
not.
the tax?
Maybe I won't extend it.
Okay.
But the blockade is going to remain. But maybe I won't extend it. So you have a blockade, and unfortunately we'll have to start dropping bombs again.
So we had these two major announcements, the ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon, and then also the president saying that the Strait of Hormuz is open. Now both seem to be failing, so we are tracking hour by hour the possibility of the second round of peace talks in Pakistan. We'll keep you updated, Aisha.
Okay, hopefully we get some information tonight, as the president promised. Matt Finn live for us in Dubai. Matt, thank you. So the back and forth on this Strait of Hormuz creating some confusion for all of those ships that are backed up on the waters there, causing several of them to turn around today. Take a look at this. Just early this morning, the Iranian military posting online that the critical choke point is once again closed, despite the president saying just yesterday it was open and ready for business. Let's bring in now Medal of Honor recipient Dakota Meyer, a great friend of mine. Dakota, thank you so much for joining us in the program today. Great to see you. I want to get your hot take on this. It wasn't that long ago the strait was open for business. And here we go again, back to, it feels like square one, where Iran says, nope, you can't come through.
Yeah, I mean, look, Iran wants a deal, so let's don't kid ourselves on that. Iran wants a deal. We want a deal. We want to get this done without having to, escalate this any further. I fully expect this to go back and forth. This is what Iran does. They're all about misinformation campaigns. They're all about taking it back. Pushing forward. You can't trust them. I mean, this is nothing that's new, right? But I mean, look, here's what is hopeful. I'm hopeful that we're going to get to a deal here pretty soon. We have a president in place who the world obviously knows is going to, uphold what he says he's going to do, especially when it comes to this aspect of it. He's proven that over and over. So, I mean, look, I think we're in a good spot right now. I think that this is like maybe a minor setback. But what I think the bigger part of this is when we're looking at this peace talk with Lebanon and other places like that, I think that, what's really going to be instrumental in the secondary and tertiary effects of what we've done with Iran is that, we have taken away Hezbollah's top cover from Iran, so like I think there's like other aspects of this where we're really going to start getting some real peace deals, and there's a lot of opportunity for that.
What about ground troops? Democrats are out there making some noise saying that they feel like the next step here is that we're going to send ground troops in. But what's your assessment based on just how much damage we've done so far to the Iranian military, the Iranian Navy?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the smartest thing that the president has done in this administration and Secretary of War is they haven't laid out their objectives so that the enemy knows exactly what we're trying to get to and, wait us out to see that we're going to leave in order to start back up, right? Like they have no clue. We have no clue as on the ground as Americans right now of exactly what we were trying to accomplish. We have like broad strokes of this, but I think it gives, our administration leverage to be able to follow through on things. What I hate getting into and I hate seeing is every problem with what the president is doing. It's all about hypotheticals. I just hear people bringing up hypotheticals. Well, we're going to do this, or we're going to do this. We haven't done that. He hasn't shown us doing that yet. He hasn't even talked about doing that yet. I mean, obviously, he is putting all of the options on the table, which is what is smart in any deal, right? He's getting himself ready to go in case he needs to do that. But what I do think is the best thing we have going is we have a president that doesn't want war. We have a leader up there who doesn't want war and who will do everything that he has to keep from, going to war. But, I mean, if he has to do it, he's willing to do it, right? Because he puts America first, and that's what we're seeing.
And we've heard the vice president say that over and over again. We don't want this, and the president doesn't want this to turn into a long, drawn-out situation. We've got to wrap it up quickly. I got to get to this other breaking news with you, Dakota. What a day to have you on, because the president just announced that he is signing an executive order. He just did in the Oval Office to fast track a federal review of psychedelics for PTSD. Here he is. Let's listen.
It directs the FDA to expedite their review of certain psychedelics already designated as breakthrough therapy drugs. In many cases, these experimental treatments have shown life-changing potential for those suffering from severe mental illness and depression, including our cherished veterans. Our veterans are having a tremendous hard time.
Dakota, I remember you had really severe PTSD and you were suffering, and then you went to Mexico and you tried this drug. I believe it's pronounced ibogaine. And this is what the president and his staff were talking about today. Can you just walk us through your experience?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I seen this as I was driving to the studio, and Congressman Luttrell, I mean, absolutely saved my life. He's been a big advocate on this. I mean, seeing the guys that are standing, Brian Hubbard in there, seeing the guys who have been the pioneers of trying to get this legislatively to where we don't have to send our men and women who have fought for this country, or really, I mean, this is going to be an extension. It's way bigger than just veterans. I mean, this is about healing America. It's about healing the world and healing the globe. And I went down there. I was a skeptic of it. I literally remember calling Congressman Luttrell before going down there and saying, this is not going to work. I've tried everything, and really just almost out of options of trying to balance, what I had, was I going to come home and be a victim of my own service because I couldn't find treatment that was going to absolutely help me while trying to be a parent, right? And so I went down there in 2019. And it absolutely changed my life. It absolutely saved my life. I mean, if you go look at me before I went down there versus I just re-enlisted back in the military, I'm back serving, I'm back doing what I love. I'm becoming and being every single day. I have the ability to focus on being the best version of myself. This is a drug. This is a medicine. I hate saying the word drug, but this is a medicine that is truly hopeful and giving back people the life that they are looking to have.
Can you just explain to people at home, that don't know anything about this, the first time they're hearing about it, what that experience was like when you took it? Because I remember you told Joe Rogan it changed your soul. What did it feel like?
Yeah, it's not like a high. It wasn't something. I had taken plenty of medications before. Trying to go through the American protocol, as whatever you could call it, of trying to heal mental health. But it wasn't like a numbing. The best way for me to describe it, it was like an internal counseling session for you to be able to process, face, and file what you had gone through and make sense of it in order for you to have the ability to move forward, right? For me, it was, I did Ibogaine and then I did 5-MeO-DMT behind it, and it wasn't easy, and but it was me being able to face it wasn't like the symptoms, it was more of me being able to go in deep, get past my consciousness, and see what subconsciously was in me that was causing me to have this. I had severe anxiety. Anxiety was the symptom that I had the worst. I mean, to the point where I was sleeping in my car multiple nights a week. My daughters never even seen me sleep. I would never sleep around them because I never wanted them to see that side of me until after 2019. And so, it was hard, but it was like I went down for a weekend in 2019, and after that I came back, and I literally, when I say I haven't had an ounce of anxiety since, I haven't.
Wow. That's a testament. I mean, that's a testimony right there. It feels like a very exciting time. I know there's people out there that are either suffering themselves or know someone who is. So maybe we're on the brink of something. If we can make this available for people here in the United States, they don't have to go to Mexico for it.
And it's hard to understand. I don't want to interrupt you, but it's hard to understand. It was hard for me, especially growing up in a time where everything was bad, right? Like anything was bad.
Yeah.
And but what I want to say is what are we not willing to do in order to heal people?
Yeah, what a great statement there. I mean, I remember those days. I mean, the egg cracking, commercial. This is your brain on drugs. So I'm glad we're having the conversation in a serious way because there's a lot of people who could benefit from this. Dakota, great to have you. You are such a gift to all.
Thank you very much. Now, Rachel, since you are new, I think you might be new here, might be here a few times. If you don't know why we are having this dilemma in Iran, I don't think that you have been paying attention to what's been going on throughout history. We have a big problem with the Islamic regime in Iran. It's been going on for 47 years, regardless of the excuse or the reason of why they are who they are, killing 45,000 people and showing their true colors right now by attacking their enemy, their friends, by destroying ships, killing innocent lives. See, they don't attack us, the United States. They attack defenseless people. They put innocent people's lives in front of targets because they're cowards. This is how the Islamic regime works. And if you don't know why it's important for us to take care of this matter right now, I don't know what to tell you. But you got to pay attention, okay? You got to do a little bit of research. You'll get there to your own conclusion. You will get there, but you got to do the research. Don't just listen to what the leftist media tells you and what the socialist Democrat tells you because they are full of lies. You got to be able to discern for yourself. You have to understand, a lot of these people, they're not stupid. They're not stupid. They're smart enough to be able to be chosen, to be paid, to convince other people. And they will give you some truth so that they can convince you. But they're not going to convince all of us. Use your common sense, use your critical thinking, and think about who has been lying to you for the longest. If the Biden administration didn't give you a clue of what is wrong in our government, if you didn't see how our enemies were laughing at us during Biden's administration, and you believe they're laughing at us today, then you haven't been paying attention. Anybody on the leftist side, you have to understand this. First of all, I have considered myself to have been a Democrat. Socialist Democrats is not the same thing, just so that you know. A real Democrat, as a real Republican, will always look after this country. And we will only fight to see who can defend this country and its people better. But now, the Socialist Democrats are a party of communism and Marxism. They are godless. They are lawless. And all they can do is say to somebody telling the truth, as I do, you're a coward. You're a coconut. You're a traitor. You're a sellout. How can somebody standing for the law of the country, how can somebody defending the rights of the American people, how can that be a traitor? How can that be racist? And people look and they probably judge on my skin, but you know what? I got darker places than other people don't know. I am a mix of a Mayan Indian descent, Afro and Spaniard mix. People don't know where I am, where I'm from. They don't know who I am, and they don't need to know who I am. I don't care if they know who I am. But to come over here and tell lies that will put our military in danger, that will put our American citizen lives and residents in danger, I have to say something. Now, I am nobody's bitch. I don't like to be manipulated. I don't like to be controlled. And I like to do my own research. People come in here, and when I tell them that the Socialist Democrats, the first thing they say, what is a socialist? And like, they're so retarded, as if they don't know what the meaning is. But let's make it very clear. We got plenty of history that tells us what a socialist, communist, Marxist is. You don't have to go to the dictionary to be able to get that information. So when they come in here and call me a liar, it's because they know I'm telling the truth. And you see it for yourself. You see the people that are lying because it doesn't line up with what you're living today. Was your life affordable before Trump was elected president again? No, it wasn't. It has been like this because of Socialist Democrats, because they have allowed fraud and scam. They have been taking advantage of the gullible American taxpayers, the people that believe anything they told. How can somebody just hate Christians, all of a sudden defend Muslims? What does that tell you? What happened to the freedom of religion? The hypocrisy, it's so great, it's hard to miss. But I can tell you that anybody that will drop a bomb on innocent people, they are not your friends. And don't confuse the attacks that Israel has been making on Lebanon or in Hamas, because only cowards put innocent people or innocent children in target's range. They heard that President Trump was going to destroy the bridges, the power plants. And what a real coward does is put innocent people as shields. You got to see it, and you got to call it for what it is. So any of these Mexicans, Hispanics, or whatever the hell Latin people are that come into my chat, I don't give a shit about illegal immigrants. I care about legal immigrants. I care about people that respect the law. Those are my Latino people. The rest of them, I am sorry, but you are criminals. Until you get that authorization to be here legally, that's exactly what you are. It is what it is. You can't quote the truth. The truth is the truth. You just can't change it. It is what it is. I'll never be able to take the ignorance out of the ignorant. That's something is like salvation. Nobody can force you to believe. You have to choose yourself. You got to choose the truth over a lie. If you never listen to Nancy Pelosi talk about the border, talk about this country, you're not paying attention. If you never listen to Nancy Pelosi talking about the smear of making lies about your political opponents, you haven't been paying attention. Leaking information to the media so they can corroborate the lie, you haven't been paying attention. You have to pay attention. Irish Paul, I don't believe you're Irish. You're an idiot if you're against me. Real Irish people have common sense, and they support me. So your lying ass is probably the little bit of leftover poop from the poop of the Irish. That's who you are. Let's take a listen to see what's going on here with Ilhan Omar and Nancy Pelosi as we're speaking of that.
So I have a question for you. Have you ever accidentally thought that you were a multimillionaire? Well, Ilhan Omar says she is not a multimillionaire. And look at this headline from the Wall Street Journal. She thought she was, though. Omar was standing down. Look at this headline. Ilhan Omar says she isn't a multimillionaire, blames accounting error. Okay, so an accounting error led her to believe she was very wealthy. Well, Omar was staring down a potential investigation after disclosing that she and her husband's assets were valued between $6 million and $30 million on a financial disclosure form. Now listen to this. That was an astronomical increase in wealth from her last disclosure, but she has since amended her filing, now saying that her assets are valued between $18,004 to $95,000. So 6 to 30 million to under 100,000. How in the world does that happen? Well, according to the Wall Street Journal, quote, aides said that Omar looked at the form before it was filed in 2025, but that the error did not jump off the page for her because she isn't involved with her husband's businesses. Okay, wow. But you know who is a proud millionaire? Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, and she might be tired of making money. She's claiming to have always supported a bill to ban members of Congress from stock trading.
Speaker Pelosi, do you support the Trust in Congress Act, the bipartisan bill from Representatives Spanberger and Roy that would ban members of Congress from trading individual stocks or require them to place their assets in a blind trust? And if not, why not?
Well, I think it's a new bill now because Spanberger's
They initially, but
it's a new bill. But we on the Democratic side have supported the bill as you described. Plus, it should include the executive branch. And that's one of the discussions that they're having now, because the executive branch is making out like a bandit. I originally was reluctant on it because I didn't think our members were breaking the law. But if the public felt that way and the Congress wanted, I was all for the bill. But there was not a majority to pass it, and that's why it was not brought up. And I'm not going to name names of people who opposed it.
Interesting. Well, if she's always been in full support of a ban, why did she react this way when Jake Tapper asked her a simple question about it?
Let me just read what he said. I'm sorry that we had some sort of technical issue. Nancy Pelosi became rich.
Why do you have to read that? We're here to talk about the 60th anniversary of Medicaid. That's what I agreed to come to talk about.
But I
and
wanted
what that means in the election.
I wanted to give you a chance just to respond. He accused you of insider trading. What's your response to that?
That's ridiculous. In fact, I very much support the trading of members of Congress. Not that I think anybody's doing anything wrong. If they are prosecuted and they go to jail. But because of the confidence it instills in the American people, don't worry about this.
Well, maybe because Nancy Pelosi and her husband, Paul, have reportedly raked in over $130 million in stock profits over the course of her congressional career. Must be nice. Follow the Pelosi stocks. Joining me now, Republican Congressman Tim Burchett from Tennessee, who wants to stop all of this. When you look at this, I want to pull up this headline, and you have been on this, you have been trying to stop this for a long time. New York Post, Nancy Pelosi made $130 million in stock profits during Congress career, a return of 16,930%. Tell me about your plan to stop it. It sounds like Nancy Pelosi has been in lockstep with you.
Oh, yeah, right. I'll sell you the dome off the Capitol, too. Thank you for having me on, ma'am. No, this is just a bait and switch, ma'am. The bill that's circulating right now allows you to keep your stocks, and you just can't buy anymore. So if you got a $30 million portfolio, dadgummit, of course you're gonna enhance it by the way you vote. These are just profiteers, and that's all it is, pure and simple. It's both sides of the aisle. When we gave our missile defense system to Ukraine, and then they had to issue a multi-billion-dollar no-bid contract. Who do you think owns stock in that missile defense company? I'll give you a guess. Members of Congress, both sides of the aisle. And I believe some of them possibly made some purchases very, very shortly before Joe Biden made that, or whoever, or Obama, I guess, made the decision for him. I don't know. But listen, Congress is crooked as a dog's leg. Nobody's making 16,000% return. Dadgummit, if I did that, she ought to be up at Wall Street advising investors up there, and not in Congress. This is a joke. America knows it. The only reason they're endorsing this plan because they know it won't go anywhere in the do-nothing Senate. And if it does, they'll pass something different. And then guess what? They'll all laugh about it. They'll laugh at us and be toasting themselves up at Kennebunkport with probably the wine that we paid for.
Wow, Congress is as crooked as a dog's leg. That certainly is a quote, Congressman Burchett. I want to put up another one of your quotes. You said this: there's not too many times you see Tim Burchett and Democrat New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez agree on anything. But dadgum, this is one of those cases. So AOC wants to do this with you. How many Democrats want to ban these stock trades?
There's quite a few, actually. It's and they're sick of it too. But there's strength in numbers, and that tells you, I think, a little bit that maybe Speaker Pelosi's power is waning, because back in the day they would have never done that. Their office would have become a bathroom stall down in the basement of Longworth or something, and this would have never occurred. But I think you're seeing it now. There's a big change with them on this issue, and they see it. And partly probably due to the fact they hate capitalism, which I don't. I just hate crooked people. I don't really hate them. I just have a lot of distaste for them. And the American public's tired of this stuff, ma'am. Yep. We got to fix this. And the bill that's circulating won't. My bill is simple. It just says you cannot buy and trade stocks. You have to get a mutual fund. That's what my buddy Tommy Saller is my stockbroker, and he managed my $12,000 portfolio very well. And my other buddy Andy Venable does it too. And I of course, I've since cashed it out because I had to send my daughter to school for a year. But anyway, I just think that's what they need to do. Own a mutual fund, get out of the stock market.
Seems fair. Congressman, I do want to ask you, too, about Ilhan Omar. This was Wall Street Journal reporting, so I mean, it's rock solid here. How do you go from multi-million-dollar net worth assets to all of a sudden it's less than $100,000? Does that pass the smell test? I mean, you fill out these financial disclosures. Are they that confusing?
I get another dadgum account if I was her. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Nobody's buying that stuff. Congressional ethics, I think, is like military intelligence, ma'am. I just don't think it exists. I don't know what it is when these folks get up here, but dadgummit. To me, it's just night and day, and America gets it, and we'll pass something tough again, and the Senate will pass something different, and nothing will occur.
Man, it's very frustrating. And the whole excuse about, I don't know about my husband's businesses. Well, I can tell you this, if my husband was running multi-million-dollar businesses, me as a spouse, I would know about it. All right. Congressman Tim Burchett, thanks for saying it straight.
And it's very simple, isn't it? But you see how that works. When Democrats lie, all the leftists want to defend them. What I don't understand is the hypocrisy, right? If you're gonna attack Trump, okay, on everything, well, I want you to attack everybody, politicians in general. I have to keep defending Trump because that's all you do is attack Trump. See, I can't stand hypocrisy. That's why I defend Trump all the time. Hey, Bernie, how are you, brother? I have to defend Trump because you guys don't see the hypocrisy on you guys coming on to my channel specifically and hating on Trump when you and your party your corrupted Socialist Democrat Party, and even those of you rhinos out there who are also in favor of socialism. You guys are the problem. You guys are the hypocrites. You see corruption in Congress and say nothing. You come over here, we're not even talking about Trump on any aspect. How many of you came in here and said, damn, Eric Swalwell, I can't believe that guy? How many of you have come and say, hey, I condemn Nancy Pelosi for that? You don't. So don't tell me that you're a Republican because that makes you a flake. You're a rhino. You're a flake. You're not real. You're a hypocrite. Argue with me with something solid, not just hate for the man. We're over here trying to figure out, well, I already know, but we're trying to figure out why this war is going on, and then you come in, President Trump is a pedophile. What the hell is that? We're not talking about that. Stay on subject at least so I can take you serious. It doesn't matter how much I show you. It doesn't matter how much I prove to you. You're just never going to listen. You have already made up your mind, so there's no way to teach you anything. If you believe what you believe, then there's no point on you learning anything. Unbelievable. I have one more clip that I want to share here with you. Well, here's Live Nation sharing a clip. Let's take a look at this. Let's see what this is.
This is all about trying to hurt President Trump's Catholic vote during the midterms and Republicans during the midterms. If you look at play out the dots here, David Axelrod goes and visits.
Oh my God, the arrogance of this. There's a billion Catholics in the world. They're all worried about Trump's election in the midterms.
Clearly striking a chord here.
Let's let him finish the thought.
David Axelrod goes and visits Pope Leo last week. They're talking about Obama going to visit Pope Leo. Pope Leo's from Chicago. All of a sudden, now Pope Leo is out attacking Trump and the policies of the United States and Israel. In a much more forceful way. You have three cardinals.
You guys got to hear the crowd and how loud they get when Bill Maher calls out the left for all of a sudden only loving and agreeing with the Pope because the Pope says stuff about Donald Trump and being mad at President Trump, right? So I'm going to break down everything that basically has to do with the Pope and what Trump has been talking about. And another thing about this is the way he says MSNBC's all of a sudden loving.
2 weeks ago, it was all in the headlines. You know why? Exorcisms. Yeah, this big thing about we got to the demons are all around, the devil. That's who the fucking Pope is, okay? A guy who does exorcism, doesn't believe in gay marriage, no women priests, but now, because he's feuding with Trump, MSNBC loves this guy. He got a big speech on the floor from Chuck Schumer. Eric Swalwell sent him a dick pic. I love hypocrites.
Okay, so again.
You see the hypocrisy? Even Bill Maher is actually calling on this hypocrisy. And the libtards, they just buy it. They just don't want to listen. It doesn't matter what we say. You know, how many times has, like, the angry vet for democracy is on the landscape mode, just for you guys to know. We have let out everybody out in the open just to see if they have changed their minds. They haven't. So as soon as they come out, they just go right back to jail. But you know, the bottom line is that it doesn't matter what facts we show people. If they are in the hate for Trump, listen, here's some good news for the angry vet for democracy and all the vets that are on the libtard side of politics. President Trump just signed an executive order where you can get some real good meds to be back on track and come back to society with a healthy mind. Hopefully then you will see what we're talking about. I just want to share that. Just want to share that. With that being said, there is a speech from President Trump at Turning Point USA, but lucky for my libtard side over here, we are going to go ahead and skip. Here we go. Pelosi, it's on the spotlight. I don't know. Well, you know what? That was 3 days ago. We're not even going to worry about. What is this? Influencer found hanging after she argued with her fiance. What? I don't know. What? I don't know what that is, but we're not going to touch that. Let me see. What else? Where was it? I had a clip that I wanted to show you, doggone it. Let me see if I can search it, because they don't want to come back. Oh, there's a full speech about Starmer, but he doesn't deserve my time. Let's see. Here's a little clip that Dave Rubin shared on his channel. Let's take a listen to this.
When you say Hamas is 1,000 times better, do you actually mean that? Or is that a rhetorical move or like a solidarity signal?
You gave me a perfect segue to the next thing that I wanted to hit on, which is that this guy, Hassan Piker, who, believe it or not, I worked with at the Young Turks many lifetimes ago. He is one of the worst human beings I've ever come across. He is a multi-millionaire communist, quasi-Islamist who is telling his kids, and it's kids that are watching him on Twitch, literally how to build suicide drones, that 9/11 was good, that Hamas is good, that he has nothing. He walked the streets of China and said he has nothing to be proud of as an American. He went on one of these Obama bro podcasts, and here he is saying that Hamas is better than Israel, and actually he would vote for Hamas.
When you say Hamas is 1,000 times better, do you actually mean that? Or is that a rhetorical move or like a solidarity signal? Like what?
I mean, it's all of the above. I do mean it. I think it's a rhetorical move because it frustrates a lot of people. I've also said I'm a harm reduction voter. I'm a lesser evil voter, and therefore I would vote for Hamas over Israel every single time.
Katie, I mean, what?
So let's say that he is a lesser evil. Tell me this. What lesser evil would put innocent children and women on military targets? What lesser evil would indoctrinate their innocent children into hating Israel or other people like the United States of America? What lesser evil will choose death to America? What lesser evil worships death and wants to annihilate everybody else except Muslims? What lesser evil is he talking about? This is the same guy. Yeah, this is the same guy, bro, that said we deserve 9/11. This is the same guy that says Israel deserves October 7th. This is the guy that says he'd rather vote for Hamas than Israel. And what is the one thing that we always get from the leftist? Israel is the problem. Israel is the problem. Tucker Carlson. Israel is telling Trump what to do. Israel is in charge of this war. We are fighting for Israel. None of these nincompoops know the truth if it hit them in the face. I don't get it. Yeah, let's talk about Benghazi. Let's not talk about Benghazi. That is who the people on the left is supporting. And I'm going to say this. Even if you hate President Trump, there is no way that you're that stupid to vote for Democrats in the midterms. There is no way that you are that stupid that don't realize that Democrats don't care about American citizens. There is no way that you are that stupid to not see what's happening right before your own eyes.
If you agree.
There is no way that you're that stupid. If you vote for Democrats in the midterms, welcome to your blue wave and to your doom. The rest of us will keep fighting for the truth. But I'm going to tell you, you can call me all you want, but I am not a liar, and I love this country. And again, you may hate President Trump, but do not be a stupid ass to go and vote for a criminal organization who are Marxist, communist, socialist, who have paid protesters to promote socialism, to promote Marxism, to promote communism. You can search it. These are known organizations. They have over $3 billion investing on paid protesters. And the trolls that come in here, they think I'm making a lot of money because I defend President Trump. I wish I was. As a matter of fact, if I was making money, if they were paying me to make this, man, this show will be probably even better. This show will be even better. I will go all out, man. I'll be grabbing my salary. I'll be buying new software. I'll be buying this. I'll be buying that. I will give you a better show. But this is all mine. This is my sacrifice. This is my investment. This is my savings. You can't do better than me. Whether you like it or not, I got a talent that I'm using that you don't got. And lucky for me, it's easy to tell the truth because I'm not a liar. That's why I never contradict myself. I am always myself. Let me give you the biggest example. I don't care about foreigners putting shit on my chat. They'll just give my time out. These foreigners don't know shit. I don't care where you stand, but I'm going to show you proof that the hate that these people have for Trump, it's so much bigger that they'd rather throw you in the garbage can. 13 Moorish, you are not shit to the United States of America. You are garbage. You are garbage, you understand? You give our Native Americans a bad name. You are a piece of shit. Simple. I've been listening to the comments that you've been leaving on my videos. Go screw yourself. Not today, devil. Not today. I'm going to show you proof that these people hate Trump more than they love you. Facts.
If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens. Isn't that a shame? You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself. That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
USA, USA, suckers. USA first. Whether you like it or not, it is irrelevant. I'm going to tell you something. I had such a good blast, though. I don't care. I am grateful. Listen, even if I don't make money on this channel, I am very grateful for the opportunity that God allows me to be able to do this every day. I don't care. For as long as God allows me to continue to tell the truth, I am going to continue to tell the truth. There's nothing wrong with buying stuff made in China. There's nothing wrong with buying stuff made in India or Vietnam or any. There's nothing wrong with buying things that are cheap from other countries. But what is wrong is for other countries to take advantage of us as a market. As long as we, the United States of America, is making money on trades and trades are fair, I'm all for trade. It's all about trade. We can buy cheap equipment, gear, clothing. We can do that. But it has to be fair. If it is fair, I'm okay with it. By the way, Bangladesh, right here, not China. But nice try. I think it was a good effort to try to insult me. There's nothing wrong with trading in the world. But there is everything wrong with putting Americans last. America first. Illegal immigrants, they don't belong here. Period. I don't give a shit what country you're from. You don't love the United States of America enough to respect it and respect the laws and wait patiently to be able to come here legally, you don't belong in this country. For all of my patriots, all of my members, all of you who support me, thank you so much for being here with me. I appreciate all of you guys, man. Happy Saturday. Enjoy the rest of your day. Till next time, you all be blessed.